now, yeah, back in negative territory. It is the NASDAQ that is leading, but a very, very mixed kind of a day as expected during earnings season, where you get those outside moves from individual names today kind of offsetting each other. Here's how things look right now for the overall U.S. markets anyways, 0.34 there for the S&P downside. Once again, look at the Dow, though. Nice day for the Dow, up 1 full percent versus that 1.6 downside for the NASDAQ. Tech has been in the lead all day long, as expected, with Meta's report aftermarket yesterday, ahead of a couple of monsters to come tonight as well, with Apple and Amazon, and oh yeah, Intel as well after the close tonight. So more fireworks to come. Brazil, 0.8 to the upside. Crude oil, 1.8 to the upside. Negativity for cryptocurrencies. Quick look at the S&P 500. There it is. Meta still, yeah, basically day lows. We'll talk about it coming up here, 23.3%. Quite the day once again for Meta. There is notable strength here in this group, the communication services group. Otherwise, CHTR, Comcast, even Warner Brothers was higher at one point. Looks like it is negative now, but was higher at one point today. EA to the upside as well, 1.5%. Comcast 3.75% in positive territory. I wanted to point out this group right here. This is the healthcare sector. So basically the entire thing in negative territory today. Few earnings reports here, dragging down the rest of the entire sector, offsetting some strength from industrials. Caterpillar still with a great day, up more than 8.5% off a better than expected report. There's Boeing right there. A lot of people talking about Boeing throughout the midday on Trader Prad Show. 5% to the upside for Boeing today on that China headline this morning. 737 MAX back in use domestically anyways over in China. There's ServiceNow, huge day as well, 13% in the tech sector to the upside, and that's 9% off earnings. Some of the semiconductors downside, Micron included, ON Semiconductors included as well, 4% downside. Everything else, though, not bad at all. Financials looking pretty good so far today. Some of the individual banks struggling a little bit, but back and forth we go. Where it will end, only Sean knows.
I said nobody knows.
We'll see. Anyways, let's talk about a few things we were discussing in the pre-market this morning, including Meta. Yeah, obviously a huge one. There was a number of other opportunities, though. Tesla, a monster today. We'll touch on that as well. Back to the upside. So let's jump right into things. Sean is set, and we'll kick things off with a bit of a review.
I wish I knew where things were going, and I probably wouldn't be here right now. But yeah, for this trade of the day, we have Amazon. Obviously, Amazon going to come to report today. Look, it would be Meta, but the problem is I have so many transactions on Meta that it was back and forth, and the plan didn't really fade to anything. So we're going to stick with Amazon, and what we've been doing basically for the last 2 or 3 months is trying to go short Amazon. So, you know, you see yesterday a huge move to the downside, more moves to the downside here today. And this is what Amazon looks like. So as you can see, I have the NASDAQ right now starting just to sort of inch to the lows of the day, like Brendan was just mentioning right now. So down 1.6%. Look, all of the big cap tech names basically have gotten hit. We saw Microsoft to the downside. We saw Google to the downside. We know about Meta already, right? Texas Instruments. So it hasn't been a great time for these NASDAQ stocks. So Amazon today, unfortunately, we've already been thinking about the short for this name. So this is what we do. And this is why, again, like, I get frustrated sometimes because we don't really follow our plan. But when we have a very, very simple plan, it's pretty easy to do. And this was what we were waiting for, was just levels to develop. This is actually a 3-minute chart, so I bumped this up a little bit just so we could see sort of how we're moving to the downside right now. All of these purples are short sells, right? And so it was very, very simple. We let Amazon do a little dance early, right? Then it comes right up, and it just starts making 114 as the high. How many times? These are 3 minutes, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8, basically times 3, right? So you got 20 plus minutes right here of back and forth action at that 114. So we wanted to go short, so the risk is pretty simple. We put on a trade right there at like 113.80 or 90, and then watch it fall all the way down to the downside and start building that purple flower, or planting, I guess, down to the downside where we start to get out at some of these past resistance levels, right? But we don't respect that it could go all the way down. Probably should have. But we start getting out, which is pretty reasonable. Here at VWAP, here at the 50 period, coming through again. Then all of a sudden, bang again, started making some more tops. And then the trade just gets simpler and simpler because there is the VWAP trade where it bounces back up. We short it, and then it's like all the way to the downside. Again, out small, 20, 40, 60. We hold. That's our last out right there. Let it go all the way to the bottom. Takes down 111, and we wind up getting out. So this is a 112.50, 112.70 or so, out 111. So that's, again, pretty good trade, about $1.30, $1.40. Then I was just like, you know what? Let's start to build the short again into the 50 period. If it gets to VWAP, we're in trouble. So we were actually going to punch out if it breaks, but it doesn't. So we build it up again, keep getting out. Again, it's a 3-minute chart, so I probably have like 20 or 30 fills in here. Then as it bumps up, now we're starting to make new lows. And actually, I have a bid right here at 110.70. I'm still in this trade. But why it's a trade of the day, just for simplicity. We knew we wanted to go short this name. We waited for it to make a move early. Boom, that's where you put on the risk. Like, what are you going to do in here? It's back and forth. There's not much happening. You don't even have the pre-market bottom, breaks. That could have been the short, but then it comes back up there, right? When you get this upside move to the top, where's going to be your out? I'm looking short, not long. So there it is right now. Starting to bounce right here off 110.50 or so. We're going to have to go address that, but Amazon short into earnings. Look, tech stocks have been horrible. Amazon probably follows tonight. It's your trade of the day.
Yeah, a ton of weakness, unfortunately, for Amazon, for Apple as well, notably weak on the day, heading into their reports coming up after the close tonight. We'll bring that to you if you can. I mean, Apple's typically a little bit later on, but we shall see. Make sure you grab that every single day, guys. That's the link to the watch list. 30,000 get that delivered right to their inbox every single day for free. Has everything you need to know in the pre-market. Then you come join us at 8:30 and we get you set for the open. I wanted to start with this because a notable move downside this afternoon for the Treasury yields. Here's the 10-year and the 2-year, the most commonly watched anyways, both breaking this recent support level. 4.4 was support for the 2-year. 4-ish, we'll call it, was support for the 10-year. We're back to 395 right now. So notable moves to the downside for both. Notable move to the downside here for the dollar as well late in the day this afternoon, which is, it's rare that you see both yields, the dollar and stocks all moving in the same direction. So notable anyways. Here's AMD, as you saw there, 0.5% in negative territory. So even the chips we saw very strong initially on that Meta forecast come all the way back and then some, now negative on the day. Let's talk about Meta, though, because everyone is talking about Meta today. 23% in negative territory. It was the worst session in general at the start of the day. I'm sure it's worse now, but you got to go all the way back to 2016 to see this kind of individual weakness for Meta, guys. What a move downside here.
Yeah, look.
Meta, never heard of it.
Never heard of that stock, but
Facebook, yes.
The charts on Meta, I'm just going to quickly do this for you because I want to show you simultaneously what's going on. I happen to have my trade IDs on the daily. That's why I'm going to go back and it's split adjusted for you. But you've already broken through like all of these significant bottoms. It's insane to look at, quite frankly. Like there's no other way to think about it. Because this is not the first time we've actually seen a move like this on Meta. We saw this on earnings previously. Like this has already happened here. So, that 100 level, I came in sort of thinking it'd be pretty simple, key off that 100, and it was not a simple trade by any stretch of the imagination. I bounced off at one time, it was before 8 a.m. in the morning, just a bit of a scalp trade. That kind of worked out, got a couple thirds out, then lost on that last one. I'm like, okay, I'll take that shot anytime. I wasn't really willing to take the short on that break. I waited for it after it flushed, short off of that 100 again, sort of average into it. It slams down, holds a bit at 100, gets some out. And then all of a sudden you're stopping out at 150. That ends up being a top wick. And you're going to see, I actually sat this out. I had just finished taking the short and making top wick at 8:50 in the morning, only to watch it tank into 97.
Oh, we got that, Phil.
So it's like, you've got to be kidding me, right? Like I actually had this into the short side after it looked like it wanted to reject. I make a top wick, and then it drops $4 on me. tests 100, fails 100 again. Okay, I'll short off that level, start scalping, it works, then to stop out at 100, and then it goes straight upside. At no point was I thinking that long off 100. Once it goes back down to 100 again, I'm like, I'm going to work off this. I think it can flush if it takes it out. So I work into a short off of 101, and that doesn't happen. And the moral of the story is, at every single point, I'm looking for a home run short on Meta beneath that level. And at every single point, if I had just been looking for quick scalp trades, it would have been fine. But I wasn't. And so that's why I'm down on Meta. And it's frustrating, if only because you see this, you see the volume, and you want to swing for the fences. And that's not always the way to go. If I had the same attitude, swing for the fences with Intel as I did with Meta, like, it would be a vastly different day for me. But I came in thinking Meta was going to be the focus of my attention, and that's where it was. And it was probably the wrong decision. Now, we're in a couple of things here. We're going to probably talk about most of these. I'm in shop. We'll get to that. But Google's at a huge double bottom as the market's at the low. Watch out for that. I am holding Intel to the downside, and you might see me in Twitter from time to time. We'll see if that deal closes here today. But wow, Meta. Frustrating stock for me because I kept wanting to hit that big swing where it's like going to move another $4 or $5. And it never materialized today, unfortunately. We're still within a buck of 100.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's what, it was funny because Justin came over here and was like, hey, man, like, you know, how wild has Facebook or Meta been? And I was just like, honestly, I mean, it's been wild because of the volume and the moves that have come through, right? But not as much as other names. I mean, there's been some great action on Apple. Apple is one of the crazy ones today. We actually don't even have Apple up there yet, but Apple has been nuts. Just quickly here, I'm just going to go over Amazon just real quick. Look what's happening right now on Amazon. Like, we just talked about this. We're still short right now, 112. It's at 110. I mean, Amazon is making these new, like, look at this push. Like, okay, you think these guys are going to have a good report tonight? You might want to think again. This name was just up to 140 not too long ago, and now we're sitting in a $2 winner. I remember I was just like, oh, we're going to take a 1070 bid. Well, that's exactly what happened. Now it's at 10. Wow, 110.10 right now there on Amazon. But yeah, I guess that outlook's kind of silly. But there it is right there. All right, Meta, never heard of it, but we'll talk about it anyways. Oh man, we have just more of these wicks. Like, it's going to be hard for me to look over this with you guys. But anyways, it's too bad. We have these bad wicks here on our charts. The problem is we chart all the D prints, and then Neil and I have to go in there. Why this isn't done server side, don't ask me. I've been going through this with our team for a long time. But anyways, as you can see, the only thing I want to show everybody here basically is quite simple. You see right down here is the first is a short, then we went long, then we went short, then we went long, then we went short, then we went long. And I mean, it's just one of those things where that's not good, man. That's chaos in the mind, right? And you don't want that. So you want to be able to have a definite idea of what you're trying to do before you get in there to trade. This was a pretty good trade for me right here. We went long at $100.10. Then we went long again at 102, and we got it out on that pop. You heard me, if you're watching the midday show, I hit this thing about 20 times as it went all the way to the upside there. So that's me getting out. And yeah, it was a decent size order. And then we got out of, I think, 70% of it because we went right back to VWAP, and we've seen it happen there, and there. And then right back in, there's the break of 100, and we wind up getting out on that break. So it was actually no damage done on that last part. The only damage should have been to the short side, because right now Meta is retracing almost, what is the low of the day here on Meta actually? 97.36. So I guess that was sort of in the chaos off the open. But Meta right now, downside movement here. Our charts are not going to be very good on that because of all those wicks. So we'll look to clean those up and get over that in a minute. But there's Meta all the way to the downside. Good long, last trade long, but there's the break to the downside. I don't know if anyone's going to come in and buy this. People's focusing, just so you know, because we talked about Apple, like Apple, it looks very similar to Amazon. Just look at this, just ever since, I don't have any trades on it. You know, the crazy part is we had a 147. We were waiting for this to come up to VWAP right there, and it just didn't hit it. And since then, it's been downside. And I really haven't had any other indications to go short here other than price action. Wow. Did it just break 110? Yes, it did. Amazon. Slap the fail on this one, man. This is just, what kind of earnings are we expecting for Amazon? This has been disgusting.
The big tech, I know we're going to talk big tech, but like Apple, Amazon, and Intel are the three biggest tech names. They are all tanking and at the low of the day right now. Like all three of the biggest tech names that are reporting after the bell are getting their butts handed to them today. So, Rita,
possibly like the Packers on Sunday night versus the Bills.
What do we possibly? Let's just go to Brendan because you can't already start talking nonsense. Possibly.
No, but I'm saying like these stocks are down 25%. Like what does that score have to be? Like 41. What did they beat Tennessee? 41.
The Bills are dropping
40 probably. Our defense is very
42 to 17.
I'm not even gonna
42 to 17.
I'm not even gonna hate on that score.
Okay.
I think
whatever this, we should. The fact that the Bills,
the
Bills are going to play the Packers, we should have something going on. Because we should. I mean, we want to figure out what the spread is, and if the Packers cover, like I'll.
The problem is we have Monday. Monday's Halloween.
Monday's Halloween. You're right. We can't do that. Anyways, Brendan, what's next?
We'll think of a bet.
For anyone watching, this Twitter trade getting a little interesting to the downside here for Twitter. Breaking 90 right now, 53.90 obviously. Back to the downside. Anyways, I want to mention this. Charles Schwab had their quote-unquote fall business update, which was a virtual call of some sort, some positivity coming through apparently on the call. So big move to the upside, but it just ended. So just notable, it just ended. So we might see a little bit of a pullback here for Schwab, if anybody was watching that. Let's talk about a few other things here, including I mentioned Tesla off the top there was a monster. I meant this one, not Tesla. Shopify, guys, an absolute monster today to the upside, getting back towards highs, rejecting it right now, but still up huge, 18% at the highs there for Shop, guys, off a better than expected report.
Well, that little dip there actually just got into the teens, and I just rang the register on a bit. I did want the Shop long. It's not a matter of wanting it. It's a matter of finding an execution that worked. Like I really did think, we'd get a chance for that dip at the open, and it just never really happened. Like it was at 31 essentially. I mean, it dipped about 20 cents and then went off to the races. Where I was sort of sitting in front of 30. That was the plan of action for me. I wasn't really. And maybe the breakouts are just back here again for some of these. If I had just taken the top break, which I was not looking at, I was really paying maybe just too much attention to Meta. When I look back at it, it might have just been that, right? And look, the breakout was fantastic. I missed it. I said I'm waiting until it tests 35 because that's the short area that I liked. It couldn't get to 35, so 34.5 worked. This then happened to me, and this is not a keystroke error. This is. I call this like idiocy on my part because I had my stop set for the high break of the day, and quite simply, I didn't even know how I managed to misplace my stop because it never broke the top, and I got out flat of this trade. And I wasn't watching it at the time. I was like, oh, it stopped out through the high. It was testing the high of the day. It didn't really make any, I'm like, whatever. It probably just broke the top. I had 4 other charts up there. I didn't go back to determine whether it happened. I just got lazy. It was right at the end of the first show, and I went to the bathroom because we were on here for a long time. And then it rolls over. I come back, and it's like, oh, it never broke the high. Neil, what are you doing? And it was already tanking. So I'm back into it again off the high. If it breaks 34.60, this time my stop isn't stupid, so it actually has to take out the top for me to get out of it. And just one more to get to here. I know you mentioned that thing about Twitter. It's a bit weird what's going on with that because we are in a situation where it might not be trading tomorrow. You're getting 54.20, yet it's not trading anywhere near that price. This is pretty much not what I was expecting on Twitter. Someone is offering a boatload of shares at 54, which is clearly below the deal offer, and it's not going past that level. So for what it's worth, that's what's going on in Twitter. It doesn't make any sense to me either.
Yeah, I mean, if we would have told you, or I would have told Neil, I guess, or he would have told me, Twitter's closing at 54.20 in an hour and a half, where do I think the price would be? I would say 54.16, something like that. Well, half an hour and a half more left in the day for Twitter. So we'll see. And then again, a little bit of confusion. If anybody does have any notes, put them in the chat or whatever, or message us somehow, or Bear vs. Bulls or something, because we're trying to find out if exactly it's getting taken off the market tomorrow, if it's still going to be tradable, or we think maybe it's not.
It would make more sense if it was also trading tomorrow.
Yes, that's...
I know, but the price action. I know the price action.
Oh,
makes no
CNBC,
sense.
you saw that?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
we've seen reports that it's not trading tomorrow.
Yeah,
It's not that I don't believe it. It's just that the price action doesn't make sense based on that. So
Is there? Have we checked? Does Twitter have a very small dividend, possibly? I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff. I'm just throwing stuff in the air there because Apple has a small one, Google has a small one. I just don't know. I'm a Twitter shareholder too, which is crazy. Oh, you know what? I should get out of my Twitter shares now and just get the cash. I don't have that much. Oh, good thing I reminded. Oh, actually, I can't do it. I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. I'm just gonna. Yeah, at this point, why not, right?
Yeah,
I only have 14 million shares.
If you waited this long, you might as well take.
Yeah, I might as well do that. So,
I mean,
yeah, Reuters says it's suspended Friday. Yeah, so we're all on the same page. It's just funny that it's trading so far away from the price. Amazon bouncing off 110 right now. I didn't trade Shopify at all, so we can move off of that. But again, I do like Shopify. I wonder if a lot of the pain has already been taken out of a lot of these names, right? It's like, okay, now will they now be rewarded for future ideas and for possible future growth? We know a lot of these were priced in lower due to, again, COVID's over. They were so pumped up. They had but they had the split in Shopify, bringing it down to this kind of a price, which I feel like allowed traders to short it even more with puts and everything like that. So Shopify has been beat up, but wow, up 18%. I'm actually an owner. I actually have Shopify shares, but I'll have to figure out the price because it was before the split, which means it's a disaster because I've been buying them. But this was one that I was patient in. Nice to see Shopify with a little bump up today. I feel like it's a little bit of blue skies now ahead, so we'll see if that's true for a lot of these tech names.
One thing on Shopify, I read an interesting note, but apparently, like every single time a Canadian company tries to challenge RBC for market cap, it just gets destroyed.
So it happened for what?
For the biggest cap name.
In the Canada, index. Period.
In the index. So it happened to Nortel. It happened to I'm forgetting the third one. It obviously happened to
Research in Motion.
Research in Motion, which is BlackBerry. It obviously happened to, and I'm always forgetting the third. But it's like the kiss of death, man. You never want to go at number one. And I think it was maybe it was Michael Noss that tweeted it. But either way, Shopify falling for that curse as well.
All right, here's a note from Refinitiv. I can show you this one anyways for Twitter. It's the same thing. It just says suspended from trading as of Friday, or suspended from trading on Friday. So let's see. It's very strange. Obviously, there's not much incentive to sell today when you could hold for 2-3 days and get 54.20. So we'll see what happens for the rest of the day here on Twitter. Let's talk about this one because we get red to green and then some for Ford this afternoon. Nice look, guys. We're struggling up here at the top end of the range for the past couple of days, however, coming back in right now. But even with a questionable report, questionable, I mean the forecast was a little bit soft, but nice look for Ford here today.
Yeah, look, I didn't really think the report was all that bad on Ford, but I came in essentially saying, look, I want to fade that 13 level if it does get up there. And it has more to do with the price action up there, right? Like it's just, it respected it. Ooh, did I leave a stop? Oh yeah, I have a stop on Netflix. Netflix trying to break out through the top, so I kind of just got that. Hold on a second. Sorry guys, I have to change the subject very quickly because Netflix just broke through VWAP and through 300, so that just happened. It's a live trading show. Got to be able to do it. I didn't see anything happen there on Netflix, and I'm like, I'll take it all day long because every single pop has been faded. So I'm in, I'm out. Maybe there's news. I have no idea, but that has happened like rather quickly. So if I can get a free $1.50, I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to digest because that doesn't make any sense. I'm looking at the market testing the lows. I don't see a reason other than maybe a technical break why that happened, and it just wants to give me a free $1.50. A lot of times I'm just going to take it out when I get a technical break because if it is just that, then it should gravitate back in and I should be able to buy dips. But the volume on that was okay. Maybe there's something there, but nothing else in the market that I was watching moved on Netflix. So I'll just quickly go back to Ford there. After what happened to Meta, it's nice to see that happen every once in a while.
I just shorted Meta.
Oh yeah, Meta?
Yeah, I mean, let's come over here. We'll go back to Ford in a second.
We'll go to Ford. Ford's not doing anything right now. So
yeah, I just wanted to say quickly that we did short Meta. I know there's a lot of you obviously looking at this kind of a trade right now. So Meta comes in there. We're going to short it against 99. I just think like there's going to be two theories, right? I mean, it's still a little early for this theory, but let's just see. It's just that, you know, we either make a huge move right now or we don't do much. So, and what I mean by that, I know that's kind of crazy. Like, what does that even mean? Like, you either make a move or you don't, right? There it is. So that's what I was looking for right there, but the other way around. So I was just thinking, like, I lost 10 cents. It's like nothing. But what I was thinking here on Meta is, and now it's going to come right back. See, so I think we were probably right there. That sucks. But maybe not. Why are we at 99? And I mean, that's the whole point. It's kind of like if we were at 100 or something right now, right? Like, what does Meta want to do right now? And that's sort of, we lost 10 cents there. It was not a big position, but it's hovering around, and this is what I mean about Meta today, like not really having a direct plan of action. There's the short, there's the spike up. I doubt we got to 99.30 there. That's probably another one of those crazy dark pools. But, you know, now it wants to break lower, so I'm going to stay away. But, like, oh, darn, man. See, that's the problem. We were just short 99. We got out 99.10, and then now you're well into the risk to reward there.
What is happening to Netflix?
Again, what is happening?
It's
to
at
Netflix?
303 now. Like nothing was
the
happening.
market's bouncing a little bit, but
I mean, the market bounced like a few handles. Like, it's not that big of a move. But anyways, it is what it is. Like, I could have quickly changed default, punched out of half of it, but I wasn't even on that level too because it was nowhere near the breakout price when I came on here, so it wasn't the first thing I was watching. But just to get to Ford, that 13, I was fading 13 into VWAP. I reloaded it halfway to VWAP. I reloaded it a third time, and the third time was not a charm. It broke out through the high on the week. It is now right back into that 13 level, which, and when you consider the fact the market's trying to make a bottom here, this is actually trying to hold the breakout price. So if it gets back above that 1306, this would look pretty interesting for a long, oddly enough, on Ford there. So interesting look, but yeah, there is a better way that I could have actually dealt with that on Netflix. I could have gone right over to it. I could have just punched out half and then just let the other half ride. But my default, I flipped over, saw it, and didn't change my default. You hit off or enter, it's going to be for whatever your default is on that stock, which is what I got in for. So it is what it is. Should have just got out half. I don't know what's going on.
Kind of days for Netflix. Not seeing anything on it, guys. Just a nice move back to the upside. For Netflix, let's talk about a couple of things here. This was a note on Tesla initially this morning. It does fade off or basically flat on the day. So not much to see here, but they did recall 24,000 vehicles in the US over a seatbelt issue, but it was kind of minor overall. These, however, were very strong off of this. Meta's strong CapEx forecast. If you remember, they said they're going to spend even more going into next year, meaning a lot of server-related chips would need to be purchased across the board, guys, for Meta. But as we saw when we came on two there, all of them basically right back to break even or more.
Yeah, look, I had two theories on chips. I'm like, I'll go long on NVIDIA, but I'll go short on Intel, which more or less has been the way I've been approaching the chip space for like the last, I don't know, like it's been a while. It's ever since Intel got through 30, I feel like it's been like that's the way to go. I bought some dips on NVIDIA in front of its, I think this breakout here is about 134, but I was keyed in on 133. They were working. I bought some at 35 thinking it was looking good, and then it just flushed through the bottom. It ended up holding the lows, getting back into a lower high, and then trending lower. But once it was broken, it's just go back to the well until it runs dry. So Intel tests, get a nice little head and shoulder, right?
Like finally.
2750, it breaks 2750, 2780 yesterday. You then test that same previous high for the head and shoulders. On the way back in, it's a short, right to 27 at support, and then I'm shorting the 27 level since. You're now down at like 2620 on Intel. Like this stock is getting just run into the ground, into the close, and I just feel like every single day I'm sitting in an Intel short that's in the money, and until it stops, obviously this is earnings, it could easily stop because it's going to report aftermarket, and maybe it'll reverse this trend, but at least it's been a pretty good one. You find a resistance level on Intel, and then usually it just works out for you. I'll probably reload this if it gets anywhere like 2675, 2680, if it can even do that.
All right, finally, guys. Finally. We just flipped up our switch here on Meta. We're short again, and I just changed up the plan, basically. And it doesn't matter because now it's right in the money. But look what we're doing now. Now we're in the money 40 cents, right? So we take a 10 cent or, 11 cent. Let's go. Yes, let's go, man. So finally, man, this started to pay off here. Down into the 40s. We're now 50 cents in the money. Let's see if it wants to print even lower than this. I don't even have any bids on this name, so we should probably do that in a minute right now. But there goes Meta back down to the downside. Yeah, let's put a 40. Oh, it just bounced back up. Ugh. I thought I had some bids in the 30s, but I did not. That's okay. Didn't even get there, did it? No, it just went. Oh, it went to 35. That would have been nice to have a tick down there. But all right. So even if this rips back up, I just want to explain what sort of the new plan of action was there. It was just to hold it a little bit longer. That's all. Take a little bit less shares than normal. Not that much less, but take a little bit less than normal and try to not scalp it out, right? So that first, we're short at 90 right now. We just got a 60 fill. So that's 30 cents right there. I don't know, it's bouncing around right now. Let's take another bid there. I'll put something on the bid, see if we get. Okay, there we go. Did it just come in? Nope. We're still bidding 63. Missed us there on the swipe back down. But let's go. Give me some 63s now. So now what we're trying to do is now I'll get it out because there we go. All right, now we'll try to hold the rest. I don't have any more bids on this name, so let's try to hold it to see if we do get that move back down into the low of the day, 97.36. Now, if we're wrong, I was going to try to get out at this 50 period, so I think that's what we'll do again right there at this 50 period. We got to adjust our share size to make sure that we don't, because we're out of more shares, that we don't punch long. But let's now do this, and whether or not you want to do it with me or not, I'm going to wait to see if we can test this for a move down now into that low of the day. I will get a piece out at 98 flat, but other than that, let's see if we get to 97.36. Whatever that was early. Our charts are going to be a nightmare. Yeah, it's right down there, 97.30 or so. 98 was a little bit of resistance. So, okay, that's what we're doing on Meta right now. Let's see if we can hold this one, hopefully, until we get printed out on the downside.
This wolf guy's popping back up here, getting back to session highs. Heads up on this. A few things still doing volume. This is one of them. There's that Epics as well. Just popping back up on volume. But watch these levels up here. $90 was the high there this morning. This one's starting to ramp up again.
Oh, yes, wolf. I might have missed, I don't know, we might have missed the opportunity to talk about Tesla. But I just got in the bid in front of 34 on Shopify. That continues to fall down. But I just wanted to point out Tesla, as the market just retested the lows, it just kind of stair-stepping into the downside. I did have a short when it broke VWAP on here, and then maybe didn't hold it long enough, got it in front of 225, but I'm kind of looking at I was looking at VWAP for any kind of a retracement back up to fade it. But Apple, we keep talking about like the names that are reporting today looking the weakest on the chart. Like there's no getting around it. So, I mean, there's names that have already reported that look weak, but I'm talking about Amazon and Apple and Intel. And Apple just tried to get back to 144.5, starting to put in a bit of a turn. On the 15-minute, like once it got below 146 for good, like I was long in front of 146. That was actually a good trade. And then once it broke that level for good, like the second time here, when it takes that out, it has just been in an absolute trend to the downside. And sometimes you get too much of a bias. I always like Apple longs, just because when you catch a good bottom there, it tends to pay out for you. But at this point, it looks like we're just trending in. If the market takes out the low, it's Apple that's going to get it there. So I want to structure a short off the 145 level. 146 is come and gone. You know, you can't go back in time and sort of will that back into existence. So 145 here for me on Apple. I think that's more achievable to get shorts off of that than waiting around for Tesla.
More achievable. I like that word. Yeah, no, I mean, that's what we're trying to do is achieve greatness right now. Yeah, junior achievement. Yeah, if anybody knows about that. I don't know if that's that must be it's probably nationwide. Maybe it's in the States there as well. Okay, just real quick here, because we're done the rundown, so thanks a lot for that, guys. If you can hit the like button, that'd be greatly appreciated. Look at PayPal. PayPal, we thought we'd try to hold this one. It is near the bottom, so I think we could probably get out. We're still short from the top there. If you remember, PayPal's a good name for us today to the downside that we looked about shorting it into yesterday. Or not yesterday. Yesterday's high is all the way up here, but the pre-market was 89.50. We did get blown out, and we and got back in. You guys remember that? And then we did coincide PayPal with these 89.50 highs over the last couple of days. So on the 25th, we topped out there, same as the 26th yesterday, and today's the 27th. So nice move down there for PayPal. Let's see if it continues its move. Don't really have any targets to get out of this one. I feel like I'm pretty safe with it, but let's wait to see here what PayPal does right now. But all right, Netflix is the interesting one, man, because it's all the way back to that same, we were short early on the show, actually, and we got stopped out. So if we zoom in a little bit, this is what we were doing earlier, shorting right around here, 302 against that high. Once it broke, we got out. But after that, I was always getting out there. So that part doesn't matter. The part that kind of stings is when you zoom out and you see that yesterday's high was 305 and change, and that's exactly what happened today. We wicked up to that and then got faded back in, right? So for me, that's a definite missed opportunity because we should have been short into here. Even if I was short 304, 305, you got to give it a little bit of room up to 306 or something, at least that wick. So that's a missed opportunity there for Netflix on that short. I think we'll just wait for that to come in again, 305-ish as a high, and then we'll deal with it when it gets there. The market's been funny, as you guys know here over the last couple of days, not necessarily moving the same direction as these earnings reports are coming out, although yesterday Meta was to the downside and the market was a sell side. But, Google and Microsoft, the market had rallied into those prints and then it faded back down to the downside, right? So again, just something to consider here that really hasn't been a telltale sign one way or the other. Netflix, again, up to 305. I think that's a good short, so we'll see here what the market wants to do on that one. That's what I'm looking at.
Oh, it's not quite there yet.
Oh, by the way, Fed pivot, and I'm being serious.
We're at the low of the day.
No.
We got to start going up a little bit.
No, what I was going to say was, sorry here, there is news about Fed pivot, to be honest with you. I'm just trying to find it, yeah. Brendan probably knows what it was, but there was earlier on. I'm just going through. The problem is, Putin's talking nuclear war right now, so my whole news thing is like full of that. I'm not joking about that, by the way. Talking about how he's great friends with President Xi and all this stuff. I don't know, or Xi there. Anyways, I'll find it in a minute, but there was some Fed speak here today, or it was Bank of America or somebody came out and said that they believe that the Fed will talk about a pivot on their next meeting. So it sounds like Brendan might have something.
It was BlackRock that was making those comments, saying 75 and then two smaller ones, and then they'll see what happens. That's apparently what they're expecting to happen in this next week, guys. Remember, next Wednesday, we get the next Fed decision. On that Putin note as well, did you see he called Pelosi a grandmother?
Isn't she?
He said, why did the grandmother from the U.S. go to Taiwan?
Right. He's right about that, though, to be honest with you. Randy's going to have a look at Prad's computer.
Being a grandmother's not an insult.
No, that's what I thought. Isn't Nancy Pelosi like 130, 125 years old? Yeah, so, I mean, if you're that old and you have kids.
Where does he even come from?
You probably have. Well, he's looking at Prad's computer because that guy was sort of bitching about how his screens weren't working or something, but appropriately so. I mean, that's the one thing about your trade computers. Trust me, you guys know that. We get frustrated at the charts, let alone if your computer starts acting all wonky and freezing
at all times,
and all that kind of stuff. So
you know this too. Like at all times,
having a look.
We have look at this old school keyboard I use. It's like one of those old
same thing.
Mechanical keyboards, and at all times I have a backup for it because I can't use a new keyboard. It's really and a lot of traders have been trading for a long time. So you're so used to like one thing, you can't even think about switching to another. I'm going to get on the bid here because look what's happening. I'm talking about Apple.
Twitter?
Because look at what's happening in like the NASDAQ. We're just sort of chilling out, and I'll zoom in for a little bit so you guys can see. We're just chilling out in a 20-point range in the NASDAQ, 10-point range in the ES at the bottom. Like, really? Like, that's kind of like a scalpable market if you've ever seen one. It's kind of ridiculous, as a matter of fact. But you said Netflix 305, and I would have been angry about that because I got it too early. But yeah, 305 is a great level. And I think it was yesterday at 305 as well. So you do have a huge double top on Netflix at that level. I feel like if we get there, I'd be putting some shorts on if we see that 305. As Prad just comes with that pizza.
That smells so good, though. Oh, man, Prad. These guys, man. The problem is he smelt the super chicken. You know, and then once you see that, you grab it. Probably a Hawaiian pizza for my guy over there. All right.
I don't care if
Isn't that funny that in our chat, that guy, one of our friends is like, oh, I hate that, my guy. And I was like, what's the matter, my dude? Come on. Anyways, that was pretty funny. I thought anyways, by laughing at your own jokes is what I do.
There's nothing wrong with that.
What's up, Miami? What's up, Playmaker? Playboy coming through right now. All right, let's just keep on going. Oh, by the way.
Market go down except for Google.
DJ is in the building right now. Look what we've did, man. I don't know. I'm going to call this Diamond Hands because at least I called this on Netflix, on Facebook, on Meta right now. There it is, man. We talked about changing up our game and not scalping. So we just took a nice little win there. That's 90 cents, man. We're short right here at 90. So that's a good trade for me coming through right there. And then just an update. Hit it again, Sean. Okay. We just got out of Amazon. So Amazon did retrace all the way back to the upside there. I was holding for the dream of just tank. But once you took down this 50 period right there and started to go back up to the upside, I use this 50 period moving average right here as a change of direction. It didn't really, or trend, I guess. It didn't really work into here, but I wasn't really doing that. I was just shorting against 112 right there, which tend to turn out really well. These are all the shorts, ding, 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 ding. I mean, these are great outs, great trade for me, but you know, definitely should have respected that 110 bottom. So again, we were sort of waiting, trying to be that hero again to the downside, but that doesn't work all the time. So we'll take a piece out there, leave a little bit on the table, but you know, that's trading. Like if I just get, like I got one piece out there and then we got it out again. So it's like if I just have to work on this part of it, right? And the thing is like I really had a lot of shares up there. So when this started to fall right back into the 50 period again, I was like, uh-oh, what if we resist? What if we resist? And then that was like me just going and getting out like a robot. I actually have 82 fills today on Amazon, which is way too many. If I could do anything, maybe we need that trading psychologist back on here so I can figure out what exactly is going on in my mind when I'm doing that kind of stuff. But anyways, Amazon, definitely my #1 stock today. And I'm very nervous. I do own the shares. It's not a huge position for myself. But, you know, I am a little bit nervous about AMZN here into the report tonight.
So just now, Google just broke 92, not with a lot of gusto. So it got down to like 94, then right back up to 92. So in this case, you know, it's a bit of a double bottom here, but this has been downward trending. I did have the short this morning, but I'm long off this bottom, kind of giving it a few ticks below. I have to zoom in all the way past here so that I can get rid of that crazy wick for you. But just giving it some room, because if that's a false break, it might be one of the last longs I got because the market's trying to bounce. So this is going to hold that support from the morning. I like it. As that was happening, because that starts coming down or continues to come down, and I keep having to change the scaling because it is what it is.
There's someone running up Amazon.
I just got some more bids here on Shopify, but if the market bounces, this is holding higher lows all the way through. I'm not going to be reloading this at the top.
Oh, shit.
If we do get back to that high of the day. So no reloads for me on Shopify if we get back to the highs.
Okay, so, oh man,
that smells so good.
You missed that. That's too bad. So
what happened?
Remember what we saw on Amazon before? It just happened again, but the guy only brought it up brought up a lot of pennies there. I don't know. I went long thinking that this was going to be what it was. So let's see if we can find it again. There was layered, I think it was 20 or 30,000 shares on every gateway all the way up. But the problem is I wasn't on that because I was looking at Microsoft. And then all of a sudden on my other computer screen, I know it's Randy's on the board. I was going to say get that shot where we can show all of our screens. But Neil and I just have way more
we can do
than...
that. There you go.
If we could do it. Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah, so I had it over here. Good job, Randy. I had it over here and was watching, and all of a sudden that size popped up. But I was looking at Microsoft, so I did miss that. Oh, man, I would have liked to see that, to see what it was. I went long right when I saw it, but then it broke, so I got out right away. So there was about a 5-cent hit there on Amazon. No damage done, but Amazon, my #1 stock today. I'm just going to watch out to see if I see that. There was just there was a size buyer, and I wanted to see if it brought it up. Because the thing is, if you start seeing size buyers on here, like real buyers, what that means is like 83, then they take out, then 84 goes, then they come to 84, then 85, then like they just keep on bringing it up. Not ones. Every time you see a 1 on here is represented for 100 shares. So if there's an odd lot, it will still show 1. So if you have like 80 shares, it will show 1. But generally speaking, these are 100s, right? So I have a couple book feeds, so some of them will look duplicated. But there was a size buyer there with decent size on Amazon. So Radar is up a little bit here on AMZN heading into this report tonight. Let's just be careful. I'll yell it out when I see something. Trust me.
Yeah, I mean, I just got stopped on Google. I just gave it some room.
Look
Maybe
at Meta.
maybe it's the last long. We'll see. But the market is rolling over. Apple, we're going to be in Intel the entire day. Hopefully, we'll see what happens. But I was actually looking at this and sort of saying, why not short that pop? And I probably, if not for the fact that you said there was a size buyer, I kind of feel like I'd already be in it. Like, it's the only thing giving me hesitation. It's a good level. You know what?
Oh, get in then, because honestly, I don't.
Nah, you know what? I don't.
The buyer, I think, ran it up against me.
Because this is resistance. I'm like, okay, well, I missed Tesla because Tesla came back, but it didn't get to VWAP.
I'll get back in.
It only got to 226 on Tesla, so that didn't quite go up there. I'm like, what can I get a short in that's popping to the upside that I like? And that actually makes some sense. But if there's a buyer, we can always get out if I see it again. I do want to get reloads on Intel. Oh, that's getting close. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I might be able to nibble into Intel. Remember, these are reporting, so you could have, there is a chance that you could see some shorts that have been leaning on the stock. I mean, this is, look at the daily chart, right? There could be shorts deciding they want to cover, go risk off on Intel and Amazon. That's certainly a possibility that I want to be respecting here. So, I'm not going to throw it in there saying these things have been going down, the report has to be terrible. There's a decent chance, that you could have some short covering going into the close. So I want to be careful with my entry points. I like every quarter on Intel, so we get back below 50, and I'm probably going to jump back into some more. I already have some from 27s, but I just haven't gotten out of all of them. It'd be a new trade at 26.50 in my books. All
right, well, you weren't very convincing at all with that Amazon short, but I'm short now. So I have my out. My target's going to be pretty simple, man. A break a little bit higher near 111, like 111 and change. If we do break higher than that, then we'll get out. Let's just see if they are going to support this bid. We've been seeing it just cratering basically all afternoon until finally finding a bid down at 110, but 110 is quite a ways away. So we'll short it right now. We're short at 95. I do have a bid here around 88 because that's where I saw the buyer. There we go. Okay, so we just got out on that one. So yeah, let's go on that. So right now we're short in the money, only a dime, but for now working out. So let's watch out for that. I'm just gonna now that I got a piece out, I'm just gonna correct my stop order right there. So we'll correct our stop order and we'll go over to Brendan.
I just saw this one, Mobileye, guys. Hasn't really done much on day two, but this level comes into play. Holds nicely, guys, 27. We're starting to tick back higher on Mobileye.
Yeah, I paid for shorts looking for 30 on Mobileye. I think it got to 29. I don't know. It got up there above 29 maybe, or maybe close to 29, but it just never came in my range. I mean, I short Intel. It's just it instantly works to the downside. Amazon's testing that 111 level, but as we bounce in the market, Tesla was the one that I didn't get into. You know what? There might not be. If Tesla's really just going to do this, that's $1, maybe less than $1 range on Tesla. Maybe there's just nothing there. Going back over to Netflix, that's right back at 301.50. I mean, there was a big volume spike that just came right back, and it's holding a higher low, essentially where I got out of this trade. I really don't know what's going on with that in Netflix. The volume tapering off could have just been a technical break. It feels like that's all it was on Intel. And I keep seeing every now and then someone talks about Mullen. I had Mullen longs off these levels this morning at 52. That was about it. I shorted the tops, got out at VWAP. I tried the long at 55. It ended up breaking. Maybe that support from the morning holds up there, but the volume, it's tapering down. It tried to get that break out of the top. I sat there with a stop to go long. As a matter of fact, I actually have not canceled. I'm going to cancel that now. That's probably not going to happen. But it has a chance to bounce off some of these lows. Just remember where the support was in the afternoon yesterday. It wasn't really at 42. It was at 52. It was actually down around here, 50.5 and 51. So it probably needs to challenge those levels. And even then, it feels like it could just be done, not just for the day. This could be a next week play for it to get a real round two and break out that 60 level.
Oh, hell yeah. Give me those. Oh, I'm at 83 right now on Amazon. Come on. Yes, sir. Bang. Let's go, guys. Hopefully we can get a couple nice trades going on here as Amazon goes back down to the downside. So, yeah, now we really got to change our stop order because we did get some more out here as we start to go down. Yeah, you can crater, baby, if you want to. You can do whatever you like. That's what it is. There to the downside. All right. This is going to be a good trade. All right. One more update there. We did finally, we'll ring the register on a fail day for me on Meta. We are going to be red on Meta today unless I'd take a monster position somewhere. I blew away way too much of this off the open. But, you know, it's a nice little trade now, 75 cents in the money. Now that we had, by the way, what I meant to say was we took some out there at 98. We got some out at 98.05 there. So, again, just not letting this get too out of hand for us and make sure that we grab some out. So that's what we did there on Meta at that level. So, again, pretty happy with everything, but not completely thrilled today. That's a good out there on Meta. So we'll see what happens. There goes Amazon. What just happened there? Wow, we got a 69er fill right there. So good job there on that fill. And yeah, this one continues to keep going to the downside. Neil, I'm going to ask you one thing. Do you remember what Cal Ripken's record was for Iron Man?
So, I mean, what was he like? 21:31 was when he beat Lou Gehrig. And then I feel like he got into the 2600?
I have no idea. The reason why is Phil Kessel.
Let me say 2632. Phil Kessel is a new guy.
Yeah,
I want to say 2632. I want to say that.
Phil Kessel, yeah, and I was just saying that because I knew it was in the 2000s because I knew Gehrig was 21, but Phil Kessel, Iron Man for the NHL, just beat, I forget who it was. Who was it? Pete Gandil? Okay, well, no idea who that is. Pete Yandel, same thing, no idea. But anyway, so that's how that's, you know.
That's how famous
that's how, well, it's funny because he did have the record, I guess. But 991
I know
games.
You know who the NFL guy is.
Is it Aaron Rodgers?
Isn't it Brett
for
Favre?
Straight games? Oh, yeah.
Isn't it Brett Favre?
For starting, yeah, it would have been Brett Favre, I would think, for starting QB, because Aaron Rodgers did miss a game. I think it was last year, and it was against the Chiefs.
Was I right? Did I say 26-32? Was that correct?
I'm not sure what you said, but was that right? Is that right?
I saw someone put in 26-32 in the chat.
Googled it. What does it say?
I Google it, and all it tells me is the unbreakable record, 21-31.
Oh, where he broke it at.
Yeah, it tells me where he broke it at. That's annoying. 26-32. Apparently, that is correct.
Yes, Kessel is the guy that eats hot dogs. So the story about, I'll just tell people what that story is. So when he was here in Toronto this is why there's a lot of players that have disastrous careers in Toronto then go on to do well somewhere else. Like, for example, Nazem Kadri. He didn't have a disastrous career here, but went on to be amazing, really, and win the Stanley Cup and so on and so forth. Okay, long story short is that Phil Kessel was basically some reporter in Toronto, was following the guy around, just in street clothes, and basically saw that before every game or every day, Phil Kessel used to go to the same hot dog vendor. Anyways,
like it.
So yeah, they set it up there where it was kind of like a sting. It's just so stupid. But anyways, they caught some pictures of this guy wolfing down all these hot dogs. But hey, man. Almost 1,000 straight games.
I like Phil Kessel more now.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
I'm not a huge hockey fan, but like Phil Kessel is now my favorite player. There you go. Well, second favorite player. No, he can be my favorite.
Yeah,
because,
why not? Why not?
No, because PK retired.
But again, another guy that didn't have a great career in Toronto, but has done amazingly, winning cups. Everything like that in Boston. I don't know if he wound up going.
Well, it ain't like you're winning a cup.
Winning one. So. Well, that's what I'm saying. In Pittsburgh. And anyways, that's Phil Kessel. Well, over to the market here.
I don't have the Slapshot one because we got rid of some. We're cleaning up our animations. I took my first out when Amazon just got down here to 110.50. I'm on the bid in front of 110 even. Shop just broke 34, so even the strongest of the strong are starting to fade down into VWAP. VWAP will be 33.50. That's where I want to take this one out. I talked about getting a reload into Intel. That's just rolling over, so that's headed back down toward the low of the day. Remember, they are reporting aftermarket. We'll see what happens with the imbalances. I don't think it was anything crazy. None of the names that reported yesterday were that big.
Intel's reporting?
Intel's
I missed that. Okay.
Yeah, so Intel's the name that we missed in the morning that's also reporting, I believe, was Pinterest. So Pinterest is another name that's going to be reporting after the bell. And it's the oil names before the bell. We'll get to earnings a little bit later. Apple, oddly enough.
Is that what people are hooting and hollering about?
Look at Apple. This is not going anywhere, man. Like, this is ridiculous. It's basically going sideways when the market continues to fall. So, hey, maybe they like Apple.
All right. Yeah, Amazon went all the way to the downside when I was telling that stupid hot dog story, and we didn't get anything out. So we should have got something out at 50 there. So let's see if Amazon can pull back in, and we'll get something out in the mid-60s there, right where I should have had an out no matter what at this 50 period, so that's 65. So I noticed it too late, put the 65 in there, and the rest is history. We missed it. So hopefully that will come back down. We'll be able to get out. I might just get a piece out right now. We're in the money 30 cents on Amazon. So, but just should have, there we go. We took that piece out there at 77 as it came back in there. Hopefully we can get a 65, and then maybe we'll see that again. We are going to go short again if it does make the move up here. I still believe in that trade. So all good on that one. Meta is now, oh, maybe that's what the hooter hollering was. It did break 98, so there it is, man.
Did, yeah.
We'll go like that again because remember what I said, and look, this is about as diamond hand as I can have. We still have a piece, which is good. I was like, hey, let's go hold this until we test that low one more time, 97.36. So looks like that's what it wants to do again. All right, Amazon just went on a run, dude. I don't know what's happening right now with Amazon. It just went all the way.
It.
Yeah, I just literally reloaded it up there at 98. Or no, what did I get? I didn't get 98, or did I? Yeah, I did. I got 97s there, or 96s, but it doesn't matter. Either way, we didn't get any out on the downside, so let's just see what happens here. Every time crazy little moves like that happen, I feel like you got to get something out because, like, well, I also do have that size buyer that I saw at one point. So I don't know if they're hiding sometimes, buying these up. Like, why did we just shoot up like that when the futures didn't do anything? So I don't know, man. Maybe there is something here.
There's always a chance that there is
there's always a chance.
Like, it's in the back of my mind that after the crazy whipsaw action that you see in the aftermarket on some of those earnings, there could be traders out there who have been in the money on the short and they just want to take some risk off, and so you could see some buy. That said, I did not get on the bid in front of that iceberg on Shopify yesterday at $9.50. So when I see the same thing essentially happening on Ford at $13, I'm going to do it now. I got some at 02s. I'm going to get some at 01s here on the bid. And on Shop, when I saw this happen, it ended up holding it the entire afternoon. And you could have had 4 shots to go long 951 into 960. But it looks like the same thing's happening here on Ford. And Ford had earnings and is up on the day with the market down. So why not take a shot here on Ford? It's 01s and 02s long. If it breaks 13, I'm out. And Randy has to yell Ford every single time we bring it up.
It's like it's in his contract
it is
to
in
do
his
that
contract
as well. So
and now that I'm in it, it will not work like Shopify works, so we'll see. Watch, it's going to break. I get in,
it is gonna
and
break.
It instantly breaks.
It broke.
Come on. That was the fastest 2 cents ever.
Oh, you got in and out, okay.
No, I'm not going to. If it gets back above, then I'll get back in and probably just take it at evens. But if it's going to break down, I think the market's headed lower. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So I'm not like holding longs. Like, I'll take a long with a 1 or 2 cent stop, like really tight stop. If it wants to hold it, more power to that long. But I think we're going down here. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm holding shorts. Apple, Amazon. I think I just got some on the bid. Just got some on the bid on Amazon again. Like, I had to zoom in and out every single time. But as this heads to the downside, yeah, I'm going to hang on to the short. Shopify. I'm going to get out of Shopify at VWAP because it's super strong, right? This is not heading to lows, breaking lows, a dumpster fire, disaster, or anything. This is up 15% and essentially holding support off the highs. I'm going to get out of this at VWAP and maybe trail it if it tries to bounce off VWAP. So Shopify, yeah, I'm getting out of this pretty soon, like 15, 20 cents or so. I'll be rigging the register on Shop.
Let's just double check in on PayPal. PayPal's right here. We could just end this. This is a $2 winner, so this is pretty good for us. We'll go dun, 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 dun. There it is. So we'll see there. Okay, another fill on Amazon. PayPal's just been sort of ringing that register today to that downside there. A lot of love for this name off of Amazon. Wait a second. Yeah, it should have nothing to do with earnings. I was going to say, because remember they had a nice little bump up on PayPal over the last couple of days due to the fact that it doesn't look like anything on a daily chart, but we did get, wait a second. Where's that bump up? Oh, yeah, right up there to 92. Okay, now we're all the way back. Wow. So this is that bump up for PayPal just a couple days ago when they were going to get Venmo onto Amazon. They are still doing it. This is not rumors or anything. This is what's happening. Went up to $91, $92, and then today getting crushed back down. Not crushed, but back into these levels again, where I think you want to buy PayPal down here at $80 if it does come in. But let's see if it wants to continue its move down. Still a little higher than the market is right now. So, wow, okay. Okay, good job on Amazon, man. I know you have this as well. So nice trade here on Amazon as that just came in one more time for us. All these stupid wicks keep on coming through, but there it is right there, 111, and there's the out at 170. So again, it was the trade of the day. It is the number one name here on the desk. So short, only shorts today. Stick with your plan. Although it does look ridiculous, I have too many outs. But every time, like you see this is upside. Profit, reload, profit. So even though Amazon is still basically in this range, I've made double the money that I would have just by holding it. So that's why I go back and forth with myself all the time and say, like, what is the right freaking strategy right now? So we'll go, awesome. I said, this is the thing. Why don't we could just rewind the tape. Like when I took this trade right here, and it's stupid because again, I only have a piece, but it's like, I said, let's hold this until Meta goes back down to its low of the day. We just touched the low of the day at 97.40. So kind of like mission accomplished right now on that one. But nah, let's hold it and see if we can make a little bit more, man. Greed sometimes can be good. I wish I was a little greedier in and around here at 98.50, but we did see some bouncing around. I thought it was prudent to get out a little bit there, in which we did, but now we're only holding 20%. So unfortunately, let's see if Meta keeps on going to the downside. So good trading on that. We did have a super chat come in. What's up, Dan Patrick? The one and only Dan Patrick? Well, I guess there's not. There's many Dan Patricks, I guess. All right, what's up, Dan? How why did you get the top on PayPal? I got in at 89.30. No complaints. Yeah, great job on that. What am I at, 89.60? Come on. Yeah, so actually, it's a great question, Dan Patrick. I feel like you are very similar trader maybe to what I am here because that was a tricky trade. Let me just zoom in for you just because you did that super chat here quickly. So this is what my PayPal looked like, right? So here it is. So I'm actually short where you were too. My first one was 89.20. We took 20 cents, then it ripped up, and then there's that price that we wanted into the pre-market highs, right, of 89.40. But see, the problem was, so this is the same candle. We actually got taken out when it broke through 60. At that time, the day's high was 50 and the market was in flux. It was early, right? So we weren't sure what was happening, but then I re-shorted it there at 89.50 on the break, then got some out. It came back up, and at that point, I was like, you know what? We're gonna have to give it a little bit more room. And the reason why we said that is we actually zoomed out, and this actually even have to go out even more. This goes back to the 26th, where we had 89.75 there as the high, and it was actually the high back there again, 89.40. So I was just like, you know what? If this name's gonna work, then we gotta give it a little bit more room. So it only topped out to 89.70. Then when it started to come back in, that's when we started cashing back out. So, and we still have a piece. But now that I see this, you know what? I'm going to get out right here, 88.10. If we break above 88.10, let's get out of this one. It's never wrong to get out, taking some profit. So we'll do that on PayPal, 88.10. Thank you for the super chat. I hope that helped. It was the zoom out there, Neil, that worked.
It's always about the
market's
zoom.
rallying, by the way.
The market is rallying. I just found something to the downside. I got out of Apple. It won't break that channel, so I'm just going to get out of Dodge. I'm not waiting for 145 when I see the market at the bottom. But
wow,
NEO has a double bottom at $10. I haven't even looked at NEO since the pre-market, and to see it actually make a hold of 10 even, yeah, I like it. The market actually trying to get a bit of a bounce here. So I'm going to start at 5, maybe try to catch some in that 10 range as well. Ooh, Amazon just broke the top of the channel there.
That's
and I had just taken profit on it and not actually adjusted my stop. So when that happens, I wasn't looking to go long there. I want the long in NEO off of this because I know my risk to reward, but I wasn't really looking to reverse Amazon to the long side. I just don't want to do it. So I'll just get out. No need to be into that if I don't want it. But yeah, I'm going to dig into at least some NEO in front of that 10 even makes sense. I'm going to assume Netflix is making a move because that's where I want to go to. No. So Netflix not really bouncing. I kind of thought if this was going higher, I could see that 305, but it's actually holding 301. That could give me an entry point here. Why not? I mean, I had the 300 break, and then it wasn't that I didn't believe in it. I just had no idea why it was making such a big move into the face of the market doing nothing. So I covered the entire thing too quickly. But if it wants to hold this channel in front of VWAP, I'll pop on the bid here and see if I can get into it. I did get that NEO fill, but it's only at 05. Usually when building along in front of 10, like the bulk, you want the bulk of your shares like at 01s and 02s just from a risk to reward standpoint. So I'll still be on the bid trying to get lower.
All right, so my stop on Amazon is a little bit higher, I guess, than yours. I was waiting for 111.20. There, look at Meta right now. Let's go, man. Now you just took down the day's high. So, yeah, really happy with that kind of trading right there. The European Union just reached this was a while ago. I apologize if Brendan mentioned this. I don't think he did. Or maybe he did. European Union reached a deal to ban the sale of combustion engine cars by 2035. So that should be, obviously it's not moving. So I guess that was probably always in the works, but it was about 7 or 8 minutes ago, which did create, I mean, the market's going to the upside. So I don't think there's anything there. Let me go over to Lucid right now and have a quick check on that one. 1390, yeah, so nothing happening on Lucid. I'm not going to check anymore. Well, whatever. I know a lot of you had trade Rivian, so we can see if that one's getting a bump up. Rivian's interesting to me because the focus on the truck, you know, and if Ford's going to have some problems with the F-150 and things like that, the Lightning, then maybe this is a decent play for Rivian. Plus, they have the Amazon behind them, the backing, of course, and Ford with a small piece still in Rivian. They've divested a little bit into that company as well. All right, so just to talk back on Amazon, there's the out. So again, it's a 200 period. It's right there at 111.20. It's not great level there. Amazon has been ripping up. We did sense there was a buyer in Amazon, so I kind of think that, you know, if we do take out that 120 right there, then we're just going to be out of it for the day because there's no point. There's so many other names in this market to trade. As we now enter, or should we do this? Let's do this for Power Hour. So there we go. Yeah, we'll enter Power Hour now at 3 o'clock. Here comes Amazon back in. Oh, it does not. See how just it stopped there? It took down a 111 and then basically stopped. So let's see if it retakes it. There's nothing really happening here with Amazon, to be honest with you. I do have a bid at 95 just to take something out there, just to get rid of some pressure. I do want to average into it though, if it goes back to the upside. So I do have a trade right here at 111.12 or so to get a few more shares on this name. So let's see where it goes from here. But as of now, Amazon's having a problem now coming back down through 111. So the short might not be great here on Amazon. And then just to look back, again, we don't want to, I want to hold Meta. It just tested the low of the day and broke it. So maybe we just made that 97 bottom and so what? So now we'll wait for that one to come through. 97.80 right there on Meta. 97.80 might be a decent out for me.
I think people in the back were clapping, I think because Twitter went like 3 cents. Twitter's still at like 53.40 or 53.94, so you can get a deal if you want. But that news about the EVs in Europe, hey, NIO's expanding there, so if I could get more than a 3 cent bounce, like obviously I don't think, like that's not new. It was already bouncing off lows before that happened, but either way, I got my orders. We keep saying layered, but you know, like it's not layered in the sense of, oh, you're trying to drive the stock up or down. It is just getting offers so that if it goes up, I'm not worried about throwing orders out there. When a stock is kind of like it's a cheap one, it's only $10, you just want to sit there passively, you know, sort of sit there, get your fill, take it, and then not have any worries about flipping over to the stock. I can have my stop set at $9.99. Then I don't have to watch NIO too closely other than just having a chart upside on that name. I didn't want to go back to Google. I had the long off 92. It then broke. It's now trying to get back above. But if you zoom in, like if I show you how far this is really moving, you know, it's now up like 40 cents off of that low. It's starting to get a little bit convincing. The market is barely bouncing. And it looks like it did hold. You just had to give it more than I gave it to 90s. If you had to give it to like 75 here, unfortunately, which is a bit more than I was looking for.
What the hell is going on back there?
I don't know. In the back,
Greg, you good, man?
Greg's making like weird noises.
I don't.
Everyone's having a blast.
I don't know if that's a rhetorical question or not. He is not.
He's
good.
Clapping. I don't know what he's clapping about.
He is not good.
Maybe because the ES went 5 points to the upside. Maybe he's excited about that. Fed pivot, right?
Oh yeah, maybe the Fed pivoted. Yeah, maybe that's true. But right now we're
Twitter. That's why.
Yeah, we ain't. Yeah, I know. We ain't pivoting at all. These guys down there are buying Twitter into the close, which makes sense. We talked about where it should go. It should go 94.20, right? So if that does,
this is like 94, the only time I haven't been in this stock.
54.20. You might be right by not getting into it, by the way. So I don't know. We'll look at Twitter right now. This is the move that they're talking about, down to the 80s, which kind of was a little bit scary, I'd imagine, there when it went down if you held some shares, but it did break the range. This is what I was doing earlier. I was trading it earlier, and then I've left it alone. So I was just scalping it. It's actually... No, Amazon is my number one net, but this is not far behind. A lot of the damage done in the pre-market. And then I realized that I was getting distracted by Twitter. So, and I even said that to Neil. It's like, what am I doing here? It's been a great trade.
It's muscle memory for me.
There's been lots. No, it's even for me too. I can do it. It's just I wanted to focus on Meta, and I felt like I was a little distracted, so we got away from that. But you know what? That's what they're cheering. But I ain't cheering that. I'm cheering this. Look at that trade. Look at that average in. Boom to the downside. And not only that, I'm really happy about this average because I talked about it with you guys. I said, if this goes to 111.12, I'm taking more shares. That's exactly what I did. I took more shares. And then there's the trade, right? Like Neil and I are trading real time here in front of you. So you can see all of our fills, all of our mistakes, all of everything. You can call us out when we're wrong, congratulate us when we're right. But there it is. I mean, there it is, bang. Like, this is why, man, we're really happy to have everybody joining us every single day. We're the real ones, and I mean, that's what that is. And I know I've gone on rants before, and I know some of you guys like them, and I get you guys tell me about that all the time. But this is what we're doing, man. We're sitting here, we're making money, we're putting food on the table, and this is what traders do, man. You eat what you kill, and there it is. Amazon, you are now well done. If you like your beef, well done. That's Amazon today to the downside. For me, I'm more of a medium rare kind of guy.
Always medium rare. Sometimes actually just rare. We'll flush this one down.
Go.
I'm all out of Shopify. You're going to see that off of the board there. The only long is Neo. It's at a 10 level. If the 10 level it's still the size on 10. If I see it any smaller, I might just not take any more shares. But Intel, which I hope to have as long as I can, is headed back down toward the low of the day. It's the one I like the most, and I've always kind of liked that one the most. And then Netflix, with the market retesting the lows, Netflix did this, just no second consolidation. You saw what happened when I tried that same thing in Ford. When it broke, it just flushed right through. It's like, why am I going to do the same thing? If the market was still headed to the upside, I don't mind that long. But when we're rolling over like that, forget about it. Now you're right back to 300 and heading lower. So if I take a long, it's got to be something like Neo here, where it's just the most simplistic. A million shares is sitting on the bid there. I don't have to worry too much about liquidity or anything like that. But I'm not going to get slipped and get caught in one of these candles on Netflix when it's just heading right into the downside. As a matter of fact, looking for places to jump back into some shorts. Like looking at, not necessarily Netflix, but Tesla couldn't go anywhere. This could be breaking the channel at 224 as the market takes the bottom.
Look at Meta.
This could absolutely be flushing. Everything's Meta's tanking as well. Just hang on to the shorts, right? Like anything you have, it's worth hanging on to these bottoms because this market is getting ugly in front of pretty much the biggest earnings evening of the year.
Wow, guys, hit that like button, man. I mean, let's go. Let's get some likes going a little bit more here. This has been a very, very impressive sort of move here in the market, man, to that downside. So look at Meta. I mean, if you're not, like, hit the like, man. I mean, these are the shorts. We gave you these shorts, man, all the way down, and I even explained sort of what I was looking at on that. So I hope that you guys were able to take advantage of this Meta move to the downside. And I know I see some people saying FML there, that they take some big hits on Meta today, or they're selling for losses and things like that. That's not... Again, into tax season, I mean, this is not a great year for tax loss because pretty much selling anything you get right now is probably a loss. But I could see that people may do something like that to capital gain some of these trades. Make sure that you put some of that in your pocket. But, that's between you and your accountant if you want to do that. But Meta is just getting absolutely destroyed here into the close. We're not even into the close yet, man. It's 312.
It's only 312
right now. So you want to talk about some disaster moves coming through. All right, and we'll ring the register on that one. So we don't even have a ring the register thing, but let's do this because Amazon, again, it was your trade of the day earlier. And then this is what I said, man, stay in your damn lane. Do you have the one where it runs you over on the bus?
I got rid of that one too.
What is this one?
I have the red. I have that. I like that one.
I like that. That's why I kept that one. I do like that. What one do you have?
I do.
Oh, you do have the ring the register one. I'm surprised it's not on my screen.
We used to have 5 pages of these.
But we're getting more. We have confirmed that we've hired somebody to hook us up.
Oh, and if you guys have ideas for like really cool, I don't know, they're not emojis, they're animations. Yeah, for animation. Just let us know. And apparently we're gonna get some new ones made for you, Brendo.
Wasn't much details on this, guys, but just a heads up on Walmart and Netflix are going to expand their already agreed upon partnership for Netflix Hub, the retail side for Walmart. So there's actually a downtick on both of them on that note, Walmart and Netflix, a little bit weak here, but Walmart and Netflix expanding their agreement.
Yeah, that could be
Walmart and
interesting.
Netflix,
It seems
you say?
interesting. I saw Brendan with a note that Epix was trying to go, and I went back over to it because it was a good trade yesterday. But when I see it, it's like unless you're getting VWAP here, or it's breaking out at 475. Because I took a breakout on this to the high yesterday, and I'm kind of thinking like maybe that's the only trade. But it's not really the high because the pre-market it was a heck of a lot higher. But I did have a break of consolidation in the afternoon in yesterday's trade, and we'll see if it can do it again. But it needs to break 475, right? Like that's going to be that key. If I don't see that happen on EPIX, not going to be terribly interesting. But I like those consolidation breaks in a general sense. And there are some small caps out there worth looking at. It just needs to get going, otherwise it's not worth it. Of course, I got really greedy. The market was coming down, so I canceled my bids at 2, and I'm like, I'm going to get a 1s on NEO. That's the best fill.
What happened?
And then I don't get 1s.
Oh,
and I was even
Amazon.
on BYX. I was willing to pay for that to get it a little better. Whatever, I'm going to bid O's and 2s. It's right back up to 105, or 10.05, I should say. And it's a slight bounce happens. I mentioned Tesla there in that channel, can't break out of it. Well, if that's going to be the case, I'll short the bottom of the channel, or sorry, the top of the channel, and then work towards that bottom. It held 224, so no break of the lows just yet. There's still obviously time. The market is just barcoding, so if you can't find something in the range, then hold on to something in the money. And if you ain't got that, then you can wait until it gets to a key price. That's the more important thing. Something gets to a key price, nothing wrong with waiting till it gets to that resistance or support.
No, I feel like that is what we're supposed to do as traders, is wait sometimes for trades to come through. But we waited long enough, man. I see Daryl in the chat. Congratulations to you as well. We just shorted Amazon again at 108. Sorry, we got some at 108. Sorry, 106, and then again the rest of the fill at 112. Not the rest, but another fill at 112, and then it broke that high that we talked about right in there, which was 112 at that time. So broke it, spiked up a little bit. That's enough to get us out there. We got out once it broke 20. So net about a 12-cent hit there on the last piece of that trade for me on whatever this stock is called, Amazon, right there. All right, so I don't know, are we starting to bounce back up here or not on the market? So it's a nice move, right back up. We're now taking out the 50 period. So again, you know, is maybe Apple or something like that too well cooked to the downside? That might be what it is too. Let's go over to Apple. Did we bounce back off that? Yeah, so Apple also bouncing a little bit. Look at these wicks today, bad. That 200 period shouldn't be affected by any of the wicks, so we'll see 145.10 maybe for a short there on Apple if it does come in. But
I'm disappointed.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm disappointed. For the last 3 or 4 days, I mean, I've seen so many people talking about Mullen in this chat for the last 3 days. So like 52 was along this morning. It was the bottom, and it was a great bottom. But nobody said anything when Mullen got to 52 again and started bouncing. I'm a little bit surprised by that. It double bottoms and is now right back to 55. And I'm not chasing the trade, but that was it. That was the long. That was at 52. If you got it, I know there's some. I know what you mean, euthanasia there. Euthanasia 10 in the chat. Yeah, that's probably a little bit of what you're talking about. That. Who are these people that are doing it in our chat every single day on Mullen? Yeah, because there's probably some pumping going on. I get that. But it was a legitimate double bottom at 52. It's not as if it was out of nowhere. Like, this is a pretty solid level. I don't know if it's the last time it did this, the break of 55 was initially good and then it faded. And by the last time, I mean literally this morning. So I would be cautious with that 55 break. That's the only level I like. It would be that 55. Probably need to get some more shares out of Intel. Actually, no. Nah, you know what? The market started bouncing there, and I was like, yeah, I just got into Tesla at 225. That could take the half out and get stopped. Intel could be in trouble. No, it's not. It's still at the low of the day. So whatever. This one continues to be okay, but you know, Tesla trying to test even higher. I keep looking over at Netflix because I just want this one to set up for me. You know, it tried to break 300, went absolutely nowhere. Unless it flushes, shows me like 98, 99, the bottom channel's no good, and that top, we already missed that top on Netflix, so I don't want to force the trade over there. And if I go back over to Shopify, that was the one I've been holding the entire afternoon. It's diddling in the middle off 34, so I'm not going to get 34.50, the high of the day again at this point, so I have to wait for it either to get to VWAP for a bounce, otherwise, and be sitting out Shopify, which was good this afternoon, but that was the high of the day. If you can't get the high of the day, I don't want it.
Yep, that makes sense. I think you got to be look, sometimes you got to be greedy, right? Sometimes, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Okay, so like we said, we were pretty greedy on Meta, pretty greedy on PayPal. We do have a Meta stop coming though. If Meta breaks 97.35, I just figured like that little shelf right there. Oh, here it goes. Now it's going to probably do it. This market's getting real excited here. What I was thinking, was thinking about Apple. So I want to take Apple in front of 145 now. I mean, this name, again, hopefully a decent name for us to trade. But let's just see what happens now with Apple back inside a little bit here. Hopefully we can get a print up near 144.80, 144.90. We're going to go short into Apple. So I'm actually at 144.86. We'll see if we can get that fill or not here on Apple. There it is. Our out now comes through for Meta. We waited for the low of the day, and it's kind of ironic that was the last low of the day. 97.36 was the low of the day, and we actually wind up getting out right there at 97.30. It did tank down another dollar when it broke, but again, we did pretty good to hold that. I'm pretty happy with that trading there on Meta, as now it's starting to go as well. I'm just going to focus on Apple, man. 10 more cents or so, we'll start that short, and then we'll play it against 145. But this market is rallying right now and is above the 50 period. I just want to see what happens here. If we can, I don't know what this line is. I didn't draw
Meta's got
that.
a big bounce on it.
Yeah, Meta's bouncing a lot. So 112.70 there. We got to take that out on the market. So let's see if we can grab some kind of a short here in Apple.
Yeah, I mean, this is the bounce in Meta. Just got off. There's no significance to some of these levels. You're at fresh lows, but just bounced off 96, getting through 97. It is time to start thinking about getting closer to 330. That initial imbalance look, finding something back into the long side. When I see even Meta going, Brendo.
There's a bit of flush there, guys, on Twitter. This was just released from Reuters. There's nothing really significant in this note. They're just quoting interviews from the past of things that Elon has said about Twitter in the past, including that he hated at one point advertising, but now he wants it to be the most respected advertising platform out there, obviously. Again, it doesn't seem to be anything new in this, but there was just an article there on Twitter.
Okay. I mean, like I was watching it, and it 5 cents is a really big move on the stock at the point where it is. So it went 4 or 5 cents. But when a stock has that kind of a range, it's 10-cent range essentially on the entire day. You trade. Imagine if a stock had a dollar range, the amount of shares you traded with. This has a 10-cent range. You're trading with more. So 5 cents is like half the day's range that it just went up and down. So I think that's why there was some excitement in the back. And I might start dipping into if it's going to really give you scalp trades of half the range. I might just start getting into it. I wanted to come to Roblox just for a quick second. And sometimes it's like lining up things for tomorrow. Here's a daily chart on Roblox. This is 47. It's basically at 47 right now, like this lower high. So it's setting up pretty interestingly for either just a failure back to the lows, 44, $3, or a potential breakout. So I'm going to file this one away. Roblox up 3%, so relatively strong into the market. Double top, set up for a potential break. I do like to identify these so that I know I'll like write it down on my iPad here. I guess you don't really write things on your iPad. I guess I'd be typing it on the iPad. But Roblox, just sort of came across that one. I still have my offers layered on Neo. It is kind of gliding slowly to the upside, but barely going anywhere. Haven't really got touched yet. I'm trying to get 10-10s on that upside trade. And then going right back over to, you had said Apple, but Meta, like if Meta's actually, I'm on the 15 here. Meta's really starting to continue this move into the upside. It does feel pretty solid. The previous low, if you go to the morning, that previous low was right around 97.25. If it pulls back and holds 97.25, I'd be apt to join this move because down 25%, risk off or profit taking would be people buying this thing back in. So, I do like that notion. It first has to maybe retest that 97.25 before I would jump into it. But yeah, it looks pretty strong down there on Meta. And the volume's okay as well. I don't know what that wick's about. They keep coming in here. No, it didn't just go to 100. It's actually at 98.
Come on, bro. Just report the wick. Don't worry about it.
I stopped doing that.
Yeah. Good. Probably good on you for doing that. All right. So we've talked about this trade. So now guess who's in it? We are Apple. So we're in this short for Apple. Unfortunately, we got a little bit too carried away. We short 85 right now, and we should have probably shorted 145. But again, if we break 145, then we're just going to get out and then just regroup on Apple. So we are getting close to breaking to the downside right now. Maybe I should give it a little bit more room. We can do that. Yeah, let's give it a little, but I just don't know. I'll give it a little bit more room there, like 145, maybe 145.10, something like that. I'm just like calculating how much more I'll lose if that does happen. But all right, we'll give it a little bit more room here on earnings. So maybe Apple needs a little bit more room past 145 to breathe a little bit. But here we go, back down to the downside. I feel like I want to take something out if it makes that kind of a move again, back to 85, and then we can sort of regroup and hopefully get a little bit of a better price. But we're not going to do that. Let's see if it comes back in. Apple, target price right around the 50 period if it comes in. So there it is. So now we're starting to break higher. It just took down 145. All right, and came right back down. So now it's back. I don't know. This is the kind of trading that I actually don't like. All this back and forth nonsense here. So I don't know. I'm very, very skeptical of this Apple trade right now. But let's wait to see. Like, that's a lot of volume, man. 67 million shares today on to earnings day. So let's just be careful with this Apple trade. But here we go. We're in it and about to get stopped out at 145.10 if it gets up there.
Yeah, Name is trying to make a bit of a break here. Just looked over at NVIDIA. It's like, okay, well, go back to the well. Something I liked long earlier. Meta's kind of gonzo. Like, it's now $1 above that level that I like. But NVIDIA setting up for a bit of a consolidation break here at 133. I do like that. So I'll probably end up taking that. And wow. I saw someone say Mullen long break 55. I opted not to put that stop order in part because of how late it is in the day.
You don't film
but
me here.
I'm going to put my stop on NVIDIA and then go have a quick look at that because that was a long I kind of liked earlier on Mullen. Yeah, it's still not breaking this level. And the problem with it for me is like the closer you get to the end of the day, the less opportunity there is for this to really make a move. So it's a nice little consolidation. I generally like that. It held a double bottom. Now you got a consolidation, clean break at 55, but it's almost 330 here. NVIDIA, I know I can just get in and out quick. It'll probably pop a little bit because the market's going. Mullen doesn't care if the market pops. Brendo?
Almost the exact same time yesterday, guys. We talked about that DOJ note on Tesla. Now there's an SEC one as well. So the SEC looking into this disclosure of the autopilot issues from Tesla.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see back and forth.
I'm just, I'm back and forth a little bit here myself.
I just mean this DOJ stuff.
Oh, no. That's what I'm saying. I know you mean that. I don't know if that's, I'm going to wait on Tesla. Yesterday, we actually waited and got some good longs despite that kind of a news. All right, so Apple, again, I took something out at 01s, then something out at 97s, and now, the average price was 85, so it's like a 15-cent hit. I still have 70% of the trade, so it's not... Like I took out 10% there, then 20% when we broke at 97 to the downside. So I do want to hold it. And my bids are now, they've always been here. I have something in the 70s right there, just at this top, which is 75, which should be fine. Like if we get a 75 print, then we're jamming. And we've already made back what we lost on that. What do I have left? Oh, we didn't get out of anything. We didn't even get out. How much did I say we got out of? We didn't. We got out of like 15%. So I think it was 5% and then 10%. But either way, we're going to take out some if it comes back to 75. I don't know if that's going to happen. We just keep on ticking this way. It needs to come back in here. We'll check out what Tesla's doing off that news, of course.
I was just there.
Oh, were you just there? Is it doing nothing? Oh, nice move up on that rally.
Then spiked right back.
And then spiked right back down. Oh. That's that 225 area again. Yeah, okay. So some interesting levels. It's actually up here now, 228. 225 was key for us before. Yesterday afternoon, we were bouncing. This is almost exactly the same chart as yesterday afternoon. Look, this is yesterday afternoon here at 224, right? Look what it looks like today. It's crazy how almost identical that looks there.
This is the problem. This is the problem with Tesla. Like, it works shorting when it gets up to 227 because it's actually breaking out of this. But the support from the last 2 days, like it needs to get beneath 223, right? Like there's no follow through on it. Either you're shorting when it tries to break VWAP up here and then fade it back in. Otherwise, you're just long off 223. There's no. The more I look at it, it's like why try to diddle in the middle? I say that a lot because it's just bloody well true. So you know what, Tesla, when it tries to break VWAP, that's a fade. That's what's worked for me. If it tries to break the bottom, there's probably some longs off there. I saw NVIDIA just now. I'm looking for this breakout. The market looked like it was going, and it starts to turn. Well, that started turning. I'm going to add to Intel because, quite frankly, that's going to be relatively weak. But I could also have shorted NVIDIA off this level. I just thought we were about to break out long, and I wanted something if the market could go. It just can't do it. So the shorts are what it's all about, as usual. And then for those of you that are still, if you're still watching it, I did elect to put in the stop. I'll give it like 5 to 10 minutes on Mullen. If it can make that break, it could quickly pop a couple of pennies there, which is worthwhile. But I'm going to cancel that in like 5 or 10 minutes if it doesn't do anything in the next little bit. I like these small caps. I'm just not seeing any that are going right now.
Yeah, same. All right, I just got to edit this stop order that I have here to come through because I got to make sure that I have the right amount of shares. I feel like Apple could break right now. So, all right, I see the shares I have. All right, let's. Yeah, I know I didn't change any values there. Thanks. We're getting close to getting out. All right, let's take one more short here. Okay, now we're going to get out. There we go. Out of Apple. I wanted to try it one more time. It didn't work, so there we go. We're out of Apple. I don't know. That was a little frustrating, but nothing really happened there. We didn't take a huge position. It was only a half hour until we see what these numbers are. It's going to come a little bit later. I think it's 4:30 for Apple, so we'll wait for that to come in.
But I think we get Intel. Usually Intel reports pretty quick, I think. We'll double check that. I feel like we usually see Intel within a reasonable time.
Intel? Yeah, I feel like Intel.
Amazon, yes.
Intel might be quick. Yeah.
Amazon, I'm pretty sure.
Is this market just
because I know there's some traders
right
that are always watching Amazon live, and Amazon's now not really doing a heck of a lot off that 111 level. Like it's up a little bit, but can't get to VWAP. This is what I'm talking about. You're diddling in the middle. I just don't want to force anything. That's why I'm looking for breaks. What is putting a new range in? That's what you want to see. Like what's not trading in the exact same range as it was for the last half an hour. That would give me an obvious break, which is why I actually went over to Mullen. I canceled my epics because part of the reason why is like even if it makes this break, the volume is so low on this, it's like who cares? It might break 475, but it's really not doing anything. At least Mullen has some people looking at it and has some action around it. So hopefully that'll be something. I'm going to get some bids. I'm not bidding the low of the day on Intel, but I'm now going to do that because it's 3:30. And we mentioned this before, but if you're tuning in for the first time, Sean and I have to be flat at the end of the day. So as I keep thinking this is about to flush through the low of the day, it just hasn't happened yet. And I did re-enter it when NVIDIA rolled over. So I will start scalping some to that low. I'll hold on to a piece.
All right, we went, I'm just going back into Apple just for a minute. I mean, if it wants to take down this 145.20 or so here, less than a minute, how long was that? That was about 5 seconds. It took it out. So again, these are not big trades. I'm trying to hold to see if it does flush into the close, but it looks like it wants to keep going up. The reason why I went back in quickly was just that I wanted to see if the market was topping there and then stopping, and that looks like that's what happened. It topped, came back down, and now it's starting to go back to the upside again right now. So yeah, this market is above the 50 period. That was a very, very quick trade. This is a 1 minute chart. Like, there it is right there, short. We got in and out there, so that was no damage, but there's that last short 14s, out 22s. Literally not even, the candle couldn't even be made right there. That's how fast this name started going back up to the upside. So nice little move there for Apple. Hopefully you guys aren't too caught in it. I did want to check in on...
100.
Meta's at 100 bucks?
No, it's not.
No, but probably is going to go there. I wouldn't be surprised if it closes around 100, right where it opened. Meta opened at 100, might close at 100, but
I would say if it gets to 100,
made a couple dances there.
In a reasonable time, it could be worth a quick little scalp trade to the short side, but we'll see. I just got my first fill. Like Neil's taking forever, but I just got my first fill to the offer. And what I mean by Meta, look, it's at 98.50. Like it's a pretty strong sustained move to the upside. And if it goes any further, I could see some people taking some risk off in that other direction as well. Like if that's VWAP, it's a pretty significant price level. It makes some sense to me. So if we do get a fast enough or big enough pop, I'll go over to that one and maybe take a quick little scalp trade. But we have imbalances coming. The early look is $628 million to buy. So take that with a grain of salt. That's just an early estimate from Financial Juice. We're not affiliated with them. They just report an early look number at what the imbalances could be. And when they do hit the market, I'm expecting, when we pull up the imbalance locator today, I'm expecting to see a big number next to Twitter's name. Yeah, like that's
a monster number.
Like, don't be surprised if we pull up the imbalance locator and you see a monstrous number on next to Twitter. That's the expectation today. If I don't see that, I'll be a little bit shocked.
Yeah, I don't think anybody, if they know how we're trading or they've watched the imbalance locator before, yeah, you guys should be well aware that Neil and I will be looking at that one for sure. I did want to, what was the other name that I wanted to look at quickly here? It was, it was Softy, but it's at, VWAP is right here at 228. So, there is something to look at maybe there for Microsoft coming in. Again, these stupid wicks make it very hard to tell what's going on the chart right here. But, that is coming to the upside. I don't want to short that. I was even maybe thinking of a long through 228 right now because the market has broken out. But again, heading into those imbalances and some monster reports, might be tricky. So Microsoft right now only down 155, which is the market, but you've seen other names down quite a bit more than that. On the reverse side of it, you guys remember AMD? AMD at one point today was up 4 or 5%, up to 62.80. We've left it alone. We had some good shorts there, but we've left it alone. But now it's trying to get back to the upside here again. So in a name that we know can be strong to the upside because of what it did earlier, it's really made the moves back down. So again, if we could break like 59.50, something like that, that's the 200 period right there at 60, but it's this top that I'm looking to break right into here, 59.40. So if we break 59.40, I think we'll try a long here on AMD with momentum here into the close. So that's what we'll look for here on AMD, breaking 59.40 to the long side there. It could also be a short.
I was saying the same thing about Nvidia's 133 is about the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just consolidating. And if I shorted this, you've already scalped it a couple of times there. I'm just sort of talking myself into doing it because it will not break 133. It is just ridiculous. It won't break it, so I'm just going to short it. And which does mean a lot of times what will happen is it won't break the level until enough people have gone short in front of it. And then you actually have thicker offers, and then the more people short in front of a level, the more likely the stops are to get run. But then you're not trading anything if you don't take the shot at it. So I'll probably stop it a little bit higher than that 133 to hopefully not get run. But here comes to the downside. As the market is still trying to climb higher, Nvidia is still trying to fall off from that 133 area. And it's getting really close to those imbalances, so there is some time left. But give me a break. There's so much weakness over here in these chip names. Oh, and if you're watching Meta back down to 98, so it is starting to turn as well. That's starting to show some weakness. I don't know if you shorted or was looking at Microsoft, but that got to VWAP if you like the reversal. I know,
that's what I was talking about.
It's like just short every single pop. Every single pop can kind of be faded here. And I'm sitting here I added to Intel, which is fine, but this is actually moving over here, and I don't want to chase it too far. 80s and 90s is all I want. I'm not chasing this all the way down to 60s. The risk to reward is completely skewed at that point.
Yeah, I'm just looking, I'm trying to find a short, and I'm getting a little bit, I'm not getting frustrated. It's just Netflix is not really at the right levels to short right now. AMD, we just talked about it. I could go for a little bit of a run to the upside, so we'll see if that's there. Maybe some, what's AMC? No. Just seeing if there's anything else at support or at resistance. We talked about NVIDIA a little bit as well. What are you guys looking at? Yeah, Amazon, okay. I saw that again. Yeah, Amazon, 114 there, that could have been a level there for Amazon. So, sorry, not 111.40, not 114 there for Amazon. So yeah, I could see getting on board with this little drop down in. That would have been a good one, yeah. 111 getting taken out right now. So yeah, we could short 111, that's not bad, against 110.70 or so. Yeah, that's not bad, that's not a bad play. Let's, good find there, but again, I'd like to get it back into the high 90s a little bit. I think we've missed a little bit of that, needless to say. So yeah, let's go over to Brent and see what he's up to quickly.
I just saw this one, guys, a little one from the Semiconductor group, a recent addition anyways. PI up 30% today off earnings. Again, a semi name just taking up the highs here going into the close.
That's super strong.
Magnum PI?
Magnum PI. That's a great show.
Damn it, Amazon, man. Good call.
I don't know about the new show. Yeah, you guys made a great call on Amazon there, but the issue with this stock is probably going to be liquidity and volume, which I need to see. I just got a first fill in NVIDIA. So the way I elected to play it is if I can't get anything till 70s, and I can only get in a third there. What? So I can at least have an average price of about 85 to 90 is what I would target if it were to break that 133. the volume, if the volume was better on this, breaking out the highs when the market's trying to take out trying to hold the lows is never really a bad sign because then you can get some follow through. But yeah, volume tapering on that one. One to file away for tomorrow. As I said, NVIDIA, if you can't beat them, join them. And I mean, it could not break that 133 that I was waiting for. So going to start shorting it in front of that level. And if it breaks out, I can always reverse. Want to be out of this thing in about 10 minutes or so. That's when those imbalances do come through. And given the fact that, you know, Intel is reporting, I could expect that maybe you'll see some reaction out of a couple of these chip names. But the channel here is about $1. So there is an opportunity that we could actually get this dollar range in the next 10, 15 minutes on NVIDIA. Or if it breaks up, then you can see the buck in a VWAP.
All right. Just getting ready here. I don't know what these guys are talking about over there. Earnings whisper.
I never know what's going on. I think some people they always want to know what time things are coming out so they can watch them. So you go to Earnings Whisper, sometimes they'll tell you, oh, this report's at 4:05 or 4:10. That's my guess is what's going on behind us.
Yep, I think so too. They're getting ready to lock and load on some of those earnings plays. I mean, they've been good trades. We talked about that yesterday. Meta ripped up to 140 and then
Just
instantly
be real careful, though.
kept going down. That's what we got to do because Meta had a $40 range yesterday in like the first 10 minutes of their earning report. So maybe not 40, but 30 for sure. Dollar range there. Went up to 110. Here's Meta yesterday after market, by the way, just to show you. Here's when the report first came out. Look, 144, and then it was like, oh yeah, but they're just lighting money on fire. And then I stopped quoting this at 4:30, but it was all the way down to 114. So you basically had a half hour for $40 or $30 worth of a range there on Meta. So, okay. All right, so we're short back into Amazon against that 111. We'll give it a little bit more room than 111. With 20 minutes left to go, let's see if Amazon just continues its move down. We've only been short this name today, so let's just stick with that. There's the short through 111. We did miss it. We did miss a full share size on that trade, but we do have some shares anyways. I was waiting for it to come back up to 111 or so, but that never happened. So I just had to punch the short, which gave me 92s. So waiting for a little bit more. Hopefully we get a little bit of help from this market. If it does want to go back up, we're sitting there and get the short, and then we'll start to make it move. We won't do anything, but hopefully the market will have this thing move to the, here it goes, down into the downside. So that is 110.60. Let's put our first bid there, see if we can capture something at 110.60. Already 15 cents in the money, but we need more than that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's pretty much exactly what NVIDIA just went down for me. I want more than that. But however, I see what you guys are talking about. Doge is making a move, but you should understand, like, this is my Binance chart here. We don't actually trade crypto directly on PProA. We're equities traders. But yeah, it's all about Twitter, right? Like it's officially the cryptocurrency for Twitter is what Elon keeps saying. And so as that deal has approached closing, yep, it is strong and continues to ride it's right at the highs, as a matter of fact. So that's what I know a lot of people are talking about here. Don't want to ignore it. We don't necessarily trade them, but hey, we'll talk about anything. Show you charts, see what's going on there. That's my 15. Just going back over to NVIDIA. Yeah, it goes like, actually went more than 15, about 20 pennies in the money. Give me a break. Do better than 20 cents in the money. Like, this is my problem. I'm looking for more than that when it doesn't want to give you more than that, so forget it. If that's all it wants to do, I'll take a leg out there and see if I can't get some more on any kind of a pop. You have to be able to take what it gives you in this market. As we're starting to head back into the downside, it's 9 minutes, no update on that potential buy imbalance. I'm skeptical as to whether or not it's actually coming out of buy. The market's rolling back over.
Yeah, good call on the market. Let's see if it does roll over exactly, and we'll be able to take some profit here on Amazon as it's just dancing around a little bit. Not much though. So hopefully it can make a move back in for us. Amazon, and we still have our PayPal short, still short $2. Oh man, like that Apple's a little frustrating to me because it's really not doing anything right now. And I'm like, do we want to break this short, take that trade to the downside there with us? So I don't know, maybe Apple is something to look at there again for some downside pressure, but I don't know, man. It's not printing properly right now. So let's just hold off on Apple. We've already picked our poison there with Amazon. What is Meta doing? Meta, good out for us on Meta off those shorts. So there's a bunch of shorts in at 99, cashed it all the way down. Our best cash was 97.35 that we got out on that break. So that was good. That was past day's high. So that was day's low, sorry. That was a good one. The high of the day today on Meta is not 117 because these wicks didn't happen. The high of the day on Meta is actually where we actually got a piece out, 102.50. So This is almost like a $5 move on Meta. Isn't that much, but you're down 25% because yesterday we closed at 130, so down to 90. Every time I see that, man, it's like, wow, down to
crazy.
$97 right now for Meta. Yeah. Maybe Google is a decent trade here. We only have 8 minutes now into that.
Yeah, so as you say that, I just had to do it. Like, I don't even want to hit anything crazy. I'll hit this because that's our, crypto congratulations. I'll hit that for anybody that has Dogecoin and is celebrating and excited about the move upside today. I don't hold any Doge. But we just got down to 132.50, and if this is the channel, 33 to 32 and a half, then you just got to try to take something out. I was already short at 70s to start instead of 80s and 90s, right? So I don't even have a great price. This allows me, if there's enough time at least, to maybe reload here closer to that 133 on NVIDIA. Not a heck of a lot else going on. Even NEO bouncing off that 10 level, it's still holding in the money, but it's not going to make a move. I'll come back to NEO tomorrow to be sure. The other one that I do not want to ignore this, I'm double checking because, man, Roblox is really close to that high. And it's holding up really nicely. High of day, market low of day. I don't want to write this one off. And I completely forgot to look at you. It was
Unity?
No, it was Spot. I wanted to look at Spotify. There you go. I want to be looking at Spotify after the moves that it made the last couple of sessions.
What just happened? Oh,
and
Apple.
this one had one of the bigger V shapes. It's been gliding down. I want to go to let me just go to the daily here because this is $80 on Spotify as it grinds to it. Bounced pretty nicely off that level. Yeah, this gets pretty interesting. If we see a free fall Friday, Spot is on my mind if it breaks through $80, guys. That could be pretty interesting. I'm lining. If there's nothing going to be, if I'm not forcing trades and don't want to force trades, then I got to look to set some things up for tomorrow that make some sense. I like Roblox, watching that at the high. If we get an update, that could be breaking out on the daily as well. And Spotify kind of doing the other thing as it gets right down and tests some serious support levels.
All right, we're almost done now. So Amazon makes that move. Well, we're almost done. This is the last trade probably we'll have. We do have, I hate that I have this position now into imbalances and I didn't take anything out on the low side. So let's see if we can get something out here a little bit lower. We bounced around 80s a lot on Amazon there, at that bottom. So we're going to wait to see what happens with Amazon now. A piece of dust or something in my eye there. All right, so here it comes. Amazon, we're going to get out at 111.10. I just don't want to risk anymore. That's sort of where we stopped out. Not stopped out, but that's where that move sort of started. We're going to get stopped out of this in a second here on Amazon. Hopefully we don't, but there it is, a nice little move down.
Oh, wow.
We could save some profits and get out for flat right now. I don't want to do that, though. Let's just see what happens. I feel like Amazon...
Oh my goodness, do you see what just got sent to us?
What's that?
Oh, I'm going to try and tee it up so I can show you guys. Just give me a second. I have to actually get it loaded up.
What, Brad sent?
No, someone just sent us an interesting meme. I don't have it just yet, but.
Okay, he was saying that Brad said something, Amazon plus or minus 8%, Apple 4.6, Intel 8.5, wow. And then Pinterest 15%. Are those the
implied volatility?
Perfect, got it. Okay.
Pinterest is being held up by some deal speculation that they could be bought. So, that's a stock that has not fallen with the rest of it. But this just got sent to us, which is pretty funny. Microsoft, Alphabet, Meta, and death is knocking at your door, Apple. And you know what? It needs to be said at some point. Oh, finally, NVIDIA is starting to roll over. Move something. This is what I want to see. Go to the downside, right? But everybody has seen doom and gloom every single day for earnings, right? Well, what happens if that isn't the case for Apple and everyone's all scared, list, and Apple comes with a good report?
Apple is going to come with a good report.
Anybody considering that side of it, if everyone thinks it's going to be the worst, they come out strong, baby. Come on, Apple. Save the markets. Save us, Brendan. You got some news?
Big move, but pop. Anyways, BSBR, which is Banco Santander, an ADR just popping up. There was a note on Credit Suisse saying Credit Suisse will likely sell off its investment banking division in the U.S., which obviously would be good for this one. So BSBR, as part of their restructuring, though, Credit Suisse may sell off their investment banking side in the U.S. So this popped up on that.
You know what? There was just another bounce there off of support. Again, NVIDIA drops and then finds support. I'm just getting out of this. If the market wants to hold a range, I'll be happy with this. But, you know, that's a pretty good news. I was looking at some of the banking sector because, you know what? If it's going to be frustrating, I'm just going to take the wins where I can. Intel just got me out on the bottoms, but I don't want to ignore this for pretty much everybody. This is JP Morgan. This is JP Morgan breaking 125. This is JP Morgan rejecting 125. So
this is
up 25% from a double bottom at 101. If it does not hold that quarter gain, 25% gain, this is a decent chance to roll over. However, the way I would express that trade is with ye old Morgan Stanley. And Morgan Stanley has tried to break that 81 resistance. It's got a wick top through that 81. It opens below 81 tomorrow. I'm going to be favoring some shorts in Morgan Stanley. And if JP Morgan happens to be profit taking, that can only help a downward move in Morgan. It's trying to break out, so I understand it holds 81. It could be a bit of a long. I'm thinking the short first on a rejection because there's more downside to the bottom of the range.
Look, I've never sent a winning stock, like my number one stock of the day, into the gates of hell. But honestly, Amazon can go there now. It's my number one stock today. And the thing is, the market has fallen down here, and I've held this short, thinking that was good. And it's like if I shorted pretty much anything else, I'm watching Apple here, Meta, all these names starting to go again. So yeah, it looks like Amazon is going to be a loser here, taking it out. Just to let you guys know, a break above 15 and we're out on Amazon, which would suck. Starting the, my last trade of the day, I don't like to ever see that one be a loser, but it looks like it's going to be that as Amazon is right now taking out some of those levels and just not dropping back down. I mean, this is what I mean. The market right here started to tick down a little bit, like decently down. Like it went all the way down to here. Apple went a little bit to the downside. You saw Neil with NVIDIA and so on and so forth. But yeah, Amazon, didn't even think about ticking down. We only have now, though, 20 seconds. Yeah, until I probably get destroyed on this. Hopefully Amazon comes for a sell side, but we'll see.
Yeah, so the imbalances are coming in just a little bit. Someone asked, why is Twitter falling to the downside? Remember, it's coming off the exchange.
Here comes a big imbalance.
It's coming off the exchange today. So it's the last day of trade for Twitter. I'm expecting to see a big sell. But 20 million to sell on Twitter.
Yep, there it goes.
20 million to sell on Twitter.
Yeah, you could see
that? Like nothing else is there. What do you got? GPS. I mean, Alphabet's there for $1 million buy. I feel like it was $1 million buy yesterday. Apple just showed up there.
Amazon took me out.
1.5 million to buy on Apple. So that's the most significant one. But look at Twitter. Falling like an absolute rock with 19 million sell coming out of the index here. The crazy thing about this is there's an ARB play that I'm not really understanding why the ARB isn't all over this. They're probably going to try and buy it on the close, is my guess.
I'll try to go a little short here. I mean, I'll take a little short at 78, man, and then just put our stop. Screw you, Amazon, honestly. Like, that stock went the other way for me. That sucks. But, okay, we can make a little bit of money back here. Let's see what happens with Twitter. So there it is. It just touched 76. Let's just get out where this all sort of started here, 83, 84, if we're going to be wrong on this name. We do have a decent amount of shares, so hopefully this will come down into the 70s or so, like lower 70s, and we'll take a bid out there. I'm putting something on the bid. We could take a piece out right here at 76 if we can get it, but I'm sitting on like a paid gateway. I want to make sure we get paid, but that doesn't look like that's going to happen. So watch out here. We have to watch it against those imbalances. It will get paired off. So it was initially 30. Now it's only 17.
If it doesn't pair to some degree, I don't understand what's happening. That's just me, because there's going to be ARBs that just say, okay, I can get some of this and get 54.20 here. That's arbitrage for anyone that doesn't know what that means. But yeah, like I would want this back in like the 85 range personally. Like if I'm going to short this far away from the deal price, I kind of want to hold out for a little bit higher, so I'm being really patient with it. There's still 8 or 9 minutes to go, by the way, and the market is. I knew this was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen because it always does. When you decide to get out because it's not following through, it follows through. So there's NVIDIA finally falling to 132.
There's Amazon.
I bet you we were just sitting there like all day, like, when is Twitter going to break out of the range? It just broke 225. That's going to the downside. Now you're starting to see, you just showed Amazon going to that downside.
I hate Amazon.
I bet you Neil's going to break $10 any second now. Well, it's actually at 10:01. But the rollover continuing. I am going to go look at Shopify because that was one I was pretty interested in. Actually, that's holding the top. So good look for Shopify, holding the highs. Same thing with Roblox. Weird, right? Like some of the most beat up and overpriced, I guess, from an earnings look, from a valuation standpoint, probably overpriced still, but they're actually holding up pretty well today. Shopify, Roblox.
Yeah. It was one of those things where it's like, where the garbage is good. And it's not that the stocks are garbage, it's that they've been treated like that. Roblox and UiPath, Shopify, you see with a big move upside today. Some of those names that had crazy valuations now seem to be okay. Again, by the way, the Twitter sell just got bigger. So
I can't ignore
19 million right now. So I don't know. And then honestly, man, like I just got frustrated with Amazon again. We don't have a big position, but it's like maybe it was going to fall. It only falls, of course, once I get out. So there we are. We're out again right there on Amazon. Small hit. I just thought maybe we would go downside there. But look, I don't know. Like, what do you guys think? Apple or Amazon? Which one's going to be the bigger loser tomorrow? Apple or Amazon? Put it in the chat who you guys think. My bet is clearly on Amazon, but I don't know if it's easy or not, man. Like
percent down, you think?
I just think that like Apple, it's funny that Meta's so far down because so many people thought, and look at Amazon now, right back into the money for me that I don't have to have shares. But I feel like Amazon has that, like Meta, so many people were thinking short. Yeah, now everyone's saying Amazon. People saying both. I like that both call though.
No, but it's which one's more? Like
look at Amazon
yesterday
now.
it was like which one's is riskier, Google or Meta? 2 days ago, sorry, I think it was.
Yeah.
And they ended up both exactly like 6%. That could happen. They could both end up the exact same thing overnight on the gap, but. I said back then, I thought that it was more downside potentially in Alphabet than Microsoft, and ended up being like it didn't matter. But I would say if it's disastrous for both, I just feel like Amazon would fall a bit more. But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay, only 5 minutes left right now. And like I said, we get out of Amazon at 111.05. All right, we did get a bid on. We got a 76 there, Phil, on ARCA, I believe it was, down here for Twitter. So let's see. We're short at 78. It's not. I'll have to put maybe another 76 in there.
It's going to update.
It's going to update very, very soon, and we'll get taken out if it goes up to the upside. So in 10 seconds, we should get a Twitter update here. It's a more significant update at 3:55. So let's see what comes through now. Yep, there it is, gone. So bye-bye. So nice little upside move there. So it's still there, but it did pair off quite a bit. So it did go to the upside. So we'll flush ourselves down the toilet, but that's completely fine. We got out there at 87. It was not a big trade, but still not good. Now it's back to 9 million shares. Either way, Twitter seems to be a little difficult here into the close as you watch out for these imbalances. There it is. Look at that rip up, man. Did it tick 94 there? Big time movement to the upside. Now only 7 million shares to pair. It's going back and forth. So it's just, this is going to be the last day of trade for Twitter. So enjoy your shares.
Buyers at 85
last day to trade for Twitter. We're 250 in the money right now on PayPal. So that could be something. I mean, look at this PayPal short, man. This is the one that's sort of, been watching this all day. It is near the low of the day. What's Amazon at? You, Amazon. This is. Darn it, man. Look at all these. I can't believe how upset I am, but I am because look at all these shorts. All here, taken out, taken out, taken out. Like, unbelievable that we're back down here now. But wait, we'll get our revenge tomorrow with you, Amazon.
Yeah, well, there's no question Amazon's going to be front and center tomorrow. But let's not sleep on Apple. And the other ones, of course, I mentioned Pinterest. I didn't really go over it too much. But that stock, it's been I want to say relatively calm. I just don't see any way that's going to hold up. Like, this has been sort of gliding for the longest time in a bit of a channel, and we break below 20. Look, it gets real ugly if you break below 20 on Pinterest here. Like I said, been held up, I think, because of deal speculation that someone could come in and take them out and see the value. But at some point, you have a bad quarter with advertising like everybody else, and this could be seeing a $15. I mean, I could definitely see that happen to Pinterest. We'll find out. If it's a really bad report and someone wants to buy this thing and sort of find the value and do the takeout, maybe not as expensive as Twitter, but yeah, they'll be buying on that dip if that's the case. But I'm looking at that 20 level on Pinterest with earnest anticipation. I'd rather play that if it's disastrous, quite frankly, than to the upside.
All right, I flushed myself down the toilet because there goes Amazon, which would now be in the money, but that's okay. All right, so let's wait to see what happens here. Ford, we can have a quick look at that to see what that's doing here into the close. Ford, there it is. It's not doing anything, so 13 bucks. Good day for Ford, though, off earnings up 1.4%. It's good, man, because I did buy more at 11.50, so this is going to be a good trade. Not in it, or still in it, not planning on selling anytime soon. So Ford's been a nice little call there. Let's just have a little call on Netflix. Wow, like, come on, man. Like, I short Amazon, and it's Netflix is the one that drops all the way to the downside. So, yeah, I think, like, today we just had a little bit of bad luck on some of the trades that we picked. So, I feel like the direction was fine. I executed fine. I don't really have a problem with anything, just not executed perfectly for me today. So I always hate that. All right, and just looking at some of the names that are moving. Tesla's still positive today, so let's keep that in our pipe and think about that for tomorrow. Tesla, a positive trade here today. Excuse me, I'm gonna have to cough.
Yeah, and just to give a quick update, I mean, Twitter is pairing off a little bit. It's still about 7 million. I've been doing some scalping to the short side there. Snapchat, by the way, which held up pretty decently, that's $1 million to sell. I didn't see that earlier. There's still somebody, look at this. It's still right around that 950 level, although not finding the same level of support that it did yesterday at that same price. But yeah, Snapchat, about 1 million shares to sell, and it is moving into the downside. Maybe it's, I don't know, some kind of weird sympathy style play, but either way, I'm watching some Snapchat, watching Twitter, which is still like 10 million share sell imbalance. I might go back to scalping a few at the close. With only 1 minute to go now. So we're under a minute to go. I haven't even seen Tony come by. I don't know if he's going to be on the bell. I have no idea. I saw someone lowered the bell. We got about a minute to go. Tony hopefully is going to be on it. We're going to go back over, and I'm going to have Twitter up because this should be pretty interesting at that close. I was doing some scalping. I've gotten out of it, starting to pair off a little bit, and now down to 4 million shares on that imbalance. This is the last day of trade for this stock, at least in theory. That's what's supposed to happen. So no more Twitter until Elon brings it back to market in a couple of years.
It's actually everybody's favorite growth manager will be on the close here today for us. So get ready. 3:59. No, not yet, bro. We only have 20 seconds now before we go. Quick check-in on the Twitter imbalance is still a sell. Only 5 million shares. There it is now, 10 million shares to sell there for Twitter. So good call on that one, anybody that's short on Twitter. And here we go. 4, 3, 2, and uno. All righty, and that wraps it up. Thank you so much, Justin, for that one. What just happened to me there? I just got into a position I need to get out here quickly. So, Neil, if you want to wrap this thing up.
Yep,
there we go. I got out.
I'm still waiting for the print to happen, but
I got Twitter long there. Can you believe that? I must have had an order that.
There's actually plenty of liquidity, but it's at 75.
Yeah, I punched out right away.
It's gonna. And we'll see where it ends up printing. It did stay at 10 million share imbalance there, so it looks like it's probably going to print to the downside. It's a weird one because why somebody wouldn't have just gobbled it up and just taken the free money is beyond me, but that's what's happening anyways. Brendo, it couldn't have been that good, but how did we finish up? And I say up figuratively.
Yeah, it was still a mixed day, guys, at the end of it. Dow ends the day in positive territory, 0.8 when all is said and done, but both of these, 0.6 and 1.8 to the downside for the NASDAQ ahead of Apple and Amazon and Intel to come here, guys.
Yeah, it's not that
We're waiting for Amazon.
Really, the NASDAQ leading the way. The NASDAQ is 20% of the NASDAQ is reporting tonight, so it's going to be interesting.
Amazon might be out. Yeah, come to my
Amazon's
screen
out.
here. Amazon is an absolute nightmare right now. Down to $100, 104 right now for Amazon. This looks nightmarish for them. This one's really getting cracked down to the downside. There goes Amazon right now. Wow, still going 102. Brendan or whoever. I don't have the numbers. There it is. Amazon is now breaking 100.
I haven't even seen numbers
possibly
yet.
going to the downside. I don't see anything, but obviously it's out. Holy shit, right again. Oh my God. There goes Amazon, 99.40. Those of you that picked Amazon as a short, I feel so ridiculous not like still owning any of these shares in my long-term account. We talked about it over and over and over again that all these names are going to get absolutely destroyed. And there goes Amazon, $94 to the downside for Amazon. Amazon getting absolutely destroyed right now.
Q4 net
97.
sales, a huge miss. The guide is terrible. The guide's terrible for sales. It's brutal. 140 to 148 with the estimate 155 billion. They guided 10% lower on the low end of the range for sales. Yuckity yuck, yuckity yuck. So remember when I was like,
it's down 20.
Which one had more downside risk? Apple's not going to be 20% to the 22% down after earnings.
Oh my God. Right now, guys, look at this chart. Amazon now down 23% right now. This is getting killed. 24%. Amazon down to $88 here. This is it right now.
S&P broke 3,800 just there, and the NASDAQ's 3% down now off this. Remember, 20% of the NASDAQ is Apple and Amazon, and half of it just got its ass kicked.
We don't even have Apple earnings yet, so hopefully they can save the market, but it's a big-time movement to the downside. Make sure you join us tomorrow at 8:30 when we'll go over this, these disastrous prints coming through right now. But wow, big-time movement there for Amazon. It's not done, man. This is going to be exciting, needless to say. What a big move down on Amazon. A big print there on 70s, I guess, on Twitter. So everybody excited behind us. Here's the print there, right there, 70s on Twitter. So that's what everyone's excited about. Big time trading there for that. Did you want to know about Intel quickly? No, okay. I don't see.
I have
I don't see anything else
Intel,
out right now.
Okay.
But I mean, the story is going to be Amazon anyway.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Amazon's the story.
All right, guys. Yeah, good trading today, man. Very excited. Congratulations, everybody that hit that Twitter. And Amazon right now bouncing a little bit. But for everybody here, we better wrap this up, man. It's 4:04. Brendan, thanks a lot for all the news, man. It's going to be a crazy day again tomorrow. Wow. I just can't believe I didn't pull the trigger and sell any of that Amazon. This stock sucks. Big time disastrous move down there to the downside. Thanks to Lucas. Thanks to Randy for running the board today again as well. Yeah, Brankles. Good job there, Prad and Luca. Yeah, calm down there, Brankles. Act like you made money before. All right, let's go to the downside right now in this market. But we will see you tomorrow at 8:30. Good luck. Ciao.